And we're back here once again with another episode of the Cloud9 Podcast, Season 18, Episode 6. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the Cloud9 Podcast, we are going to be talking about the WNBA. So I haven't actually got a chance to talk about the WNBA since I had my other previous podcast, not the MSK Show, not this podcast. I was kind of practicing talking about like sports on my other podcast. It was called the Iron Man podcast for a little bit there, and I had a co-host on there, and we were supposed to watch the WNBA games together, so we could be better at talking about the regular NBA when that season was going to kick off later during that year. But no offense to this person, but I could clearly tell that I was the only one watching these games actually. So I was like, you know what, I'll just kind of cover this at a later time, and I've been keeping up with the scene for a little bit there. Like, I'll admit to people, it was the Caitlin Clark stuff that really got me kind of watching, honestly, because everyone was like, this is like the next biggest person that you should watch, actually. But now that I've been watching pretty consistently, somewhat on and off, but I've watched more this year than previous years. Well, the first year I started watching, I watched a lot of games. Last year I didn't watch a lot because last year I was going through this like transitional phase with all the shows and content and stuff like that, and I just did not have time. But this year, I know I've watched a lot of the games, and the first year I started watching, I was watching quite a bit of them. It's crazy the way that narratives shape. You would think on Twitter she was the greatest gift to the game ever, when if you actually watch the girls play and you watch all the teams play, you would see that there's much better players than her, And it's not even that she's bad. She herself is actually not bad. It's just there's much better players on other different teams than her. You can just see it. Also, if you're going off of just the narrative of this season for the Indiana Fever, you could argue that the girls on her team are much better than her at doing other things and being those different two-way players that a lot of people have always said that this team is needed. Because when I was watching, it was only just her, and I think it was Aaliyah Boston who was just with her. And, if they didn't really, get things going, well, wins just kind of came as they went, But Caitlin Clark was always able to shine in those moments too. But it was just, now that you have all these extra really nice pieces added to their team, they've actually looked pretty good in my opinion. Like their recent games, it feels like they're finally starting to hit their stride. But this is just something, I'll tell people this, if you're a guy, you're not interested in watching the women play, it's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna hurt you at all, because the viewership in this league has been very, I would say, up and down for the most part. I do feel like there is a resurgence in their viewership now that you have Caitlin Clark coming in. You have all this much renewed interest there, which is a good thing, right? This is a good thing to have renewed interest in something that has been pretty stagnant in viewership for a very, very long time. I mean, most people know that this league is actually subsidized by the men's league, actually. But it depends on which team you're watching. And I would even say this for the regular NBA. Like, if you're watching a lot of the bad teams play, well, of course that's going to give you a really bad interpretation of what things are actually, And I do feel like sometimes the WNBA has this where people will post like the worst day or worst several stretch of days for a certain player or players, and they go like, well, that means every single player is like that. But it's like, not really. If you're only posting like the bad players doing bad things and playing awfully bad, well, yeah, that would. There's this thing that a lot of people don't understand. It's called confirmation bias. It basically means if you constantly confirm the things that you already think in your head without ever trying to expand certain things, that means you confirm with your own bias what you are seeing. But that means that you are only selectively looking at those things in that specific area, and that is just reinforcing your confirmation bias. Now, is sometimes that right or wrong? It just depends on how you perceive the game, actually. Yeah, the girls actually can't dunk because, that's not happening. But it is actually cool to see how they do, I don't know, a layup sometimes. Like, they do layups differently. They actually pass the ball a little bit more differently. It's crazy, since women aren't exactly faster at playing, you see a lot more blocks, you see a lot more steals, you see a lot more interceptions, constantly. So it's a different way of looking at the game. And I've had a good time actually watching some of the games this season. Actually, what's crazy is I follow the Indiana Fever on I think it's like Facebook or Instagram. My God, their social media content is so fun to watch. I not gonna lie, that shit is so fun to watch. My God, and as you guys know, the Indiana Fever are hot, and Sophie Cunningham is a snow bunny. My girl Sophie Cunningham is just on fire this season. She's really worked on her gameplay, and she's what, top 5 in 3-point shooting? Actually, God damn, she is. And guys, I told you this. I like my girls like I like my ice cream, vanilla. I love my vanilla snow bunnies out there. But Sophie Cunningham's been very, very good. Actually, Leah Boston has also been very, very good. Kelsey Mitchell has also been good. I mean, the Fever team is pretty good. Actually, they are really, really like just heating it up. I mean, a lot of the players are putting up some nice. It's not just putting up good games; they are putting up like career high percentage in shooting and rebound and field goal, all that stuff. They're doing exceptional. I'm sitting there watching. Like sometimes it's not like even if Caitlin Clark wasn't on the court, there was a stretch where there was like 3 games she wasn't in because she was injured. I think she's still kind of somewhat injured. They won all of them without her. Because most people were always questioning, well, if she's not there, then how do you win? But they just kind of proved that they could kind of win without her. So if she ever chose to leave, which I don't think she is, if she ever just chose to leave, it's like, well, you'd be in pretty good hands if you just keep most of these players right here, actually. But you've been watching a lot more than me in most of these years. So I'll ask you, man, because you've been critical of them, but you also given them a lot of praise too. Sometimes, do you think with their recent form that this is the form you need to kind of win the entire thing if they can keep up this stretch of their performance right now? Because they did beat the Las Vegas team just a day ago. They just blew them out. It was just an absolute shellacking, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So how you thinking after their recent little bit of success
To win the whole WNBA?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to be honest with you.
You don't think it's enough still?
Right now, my top 4 teams is Vegas, Minnesota, Golden State, and Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
They are playing. They have the championship material to win it all. I mean, and it's not all about the offensive game. It's also about the defensive game.
That's what
and
they really lack, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And number one, Golden State, their defense is top notch in the league, period, hands down. And when they get out there, they put the clamps on teams. Now, Vegas, when you have Aja Wilson, who's going to go down as probably the greatest WNBA player ever, and I've been following the WNBA since day one. I was there since day one, so I can tell you, Aja Wilson is something special. But
it's sad not seeing her play because she's really good.
No, Aja's playing now. She was out for a little bit.
No. Oh, when she was injured and she wasn't playing, I was like, damn, it sucks not seeing her play. So I'm glad she's back. Fucking hell.
Now, in terms of Indiana, when Caitlin is not there, their team is different. And they're different to defend. And their defense is a little bit better because teams are specifically attacking Caitlin Clark. They're setting up the pick and roll and they're trying to get her one-on-one. And they know to go at her, number one, not because of her lack of defensive ability, but she gets frustrated. And as a coach, that's one of the things that I pay attention to that. I see which player gets frustrated.
I know you're talking about too. Yeah, where she gets frustrated, she doesn't get the foul call, and then she starts throwing a fit, and then the coach has to sub her out because she's getting too heated. But she's been doing. It's crazy. When I first started watching her, she wasn't really doing that in her first year. That's something that she's been doing more progressively throughout the year she's been in the league. Because I remember watching her first year, and she wasn't really doing that. And I started noticing that when she didn't get certain foul calls, she would just started acting like Luka Doncic. I don't know where that came. I don't know why she suddenly just started acting like that.
It's a product of your ego growing. And when you are constantly having people in your ear and you have this following and you start to believe it, You start to, as my dad used to say, you start to grow and you start to smell your own shit. And that's the reality. She's smelling her own shit and she thinks she's better. And I've said it, where I get criticized when I say Caitlin, when people always say Caitlin Clark, that's the reason why people watch the WNBA. Yeah, she's brought eyes to the game. I get that point. I'm not going to discredit that. But she's not the end all be all. She's not the greatest WNBA player. Look, Paige Beckers came in a year after her, and she's doing what Caitlin Clark was supposed to do
Yeah.
before Caitlin came into the league. Sabrina Ionescu was doing what she was doing, the deep threes, all of that, the creativity, fighting, but you don't see the antics. That's the thing, and you don't have. See, it's kind of like Dallas Cowboy fans,
Oh,
where
yeah.
you take it to the next level. Now, look, some of them, fans are delusional. We get that.
Hmm.
But in the same token, Caitlin Clark is not the end all be all. She is not the greatest thing to the WNBA. She brought eyes in, yes. She
Hmm.
brought a demographic in that, you know what, they want to watch, because initially most people back in the days, it was always perceived the WNBA to some, not to everyone,
Hmm.
that the WNBA was a league full of lesbians and that's all it's about. And it turns off people. And let's be real. When
Oh
you
yeah,
when
but
you
we talked about this before. Narratives are such a hard. It's like I think you talked about it. I think a few shows ago when I first
Mhm.
started. First started doing the shows. Like first impressions matter to a lot of people, and
Yes,
then it also matters who's saying that to certain people. Like if you have
yes.
someone with a big following saying these things, and I've noticed because I've watched good amount of WNBA for the last like three years actually. You can tell when someone's been watching versus someone who's seen just a random clip on TikTok or
Mhm,
Instagram or an Instagram reel or a Facebook reel. They just upload and they just say, "Well, this what the entire league looks like?" It's like,
mhm,
and then people off a 30-second reel will judge the entire league just based off a 30-second reel. That's
mhm.
insane. That's crazy.
But that's the era we're in. This isn't just about the WNBA. This is about everything.
Well,
Now you're
yeah, you can
talking
apply it to
about
everything. Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
that's the issue. Shout out to my man NYG. He always says it. The attention span of people are literally 30 seconds or so. And no, but you think about it, like we were talking about, making um streaming, and you even said it, taking clips, because that's the truth. Most people, because we're so doing so many other things. Think about it. Some people have multiple mobile phones and they're on both phones at the same time. Then you have the laptop, you have your computer, you have the TV on, so your attention span gets distracted, your ability to focus and hone in. That's why certain athletes who have the ability to focus in, they don't listen to the outside noise. That's why they're so good. And, that's why I said when you start smelling your own shit, that means you're distracted. You're not focused on the game. You need to hone in. You want to be great, focus on the game. You look at the film, you talk to your coaches, and you be honest with yourself. You be very critical about yourself, positively and negatively, and then you go and improve your game. Caitlin Clark is a good player. She definitely is. Yes, I agree
Mhm.
with that. But she's not the greatest thing to the WNBA. That's where I give pushback on. Because no, 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 no. You
Everyone,
go watch.
people were calling her Larry Bird. People said she was the Larry Bird of WNBA. It's like
Mm,
It's crazy is there's no because this league has existed for a very long time. There's no way that there haven't been like your LeBrons or your Larry Bird. There's no way she like that's not how like a sport has ever evolved. Like there's Michael Jordan's in every sport. It's not just a new concept that was just a Michael Jordan when he was just in the NBA. There's always been greatest
mhm,
players or second or third, fourth greatest players. Like I
mhm,
really loved when Kelsey Plum was playing. I really enjoyed when she
mhm,
was playing. She was very
mhm,
good. When
mhm,
you see Asha Wilson play, she's very good. She's
mhm.
very talented. Like people meme on Angel Reese. To be fair, they're rebounding. She does get a lot of rebounds because she also misses a lot of them. But she played very good in the game she had just yesterday. She played.
Yes.
That's probably like one of her best games I've seen from her in God forever.
Look,
Actually,
when people attack Angel Reese, first and foremost, it all started in the college thing. And I'm going to be brutally honest. It started as a racial thing. And that's what draws certain people in. Like, I'm going to be brutally honest. There's a demographic that's only following Caitlin Clark because of her race. That's it. That's it.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, that's the truth. And then when she got and win the championship game and Angel Reese did the ring thing, oh no, 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 no. But y'all don't remember that Caitlin Clark did that earlier in that season. I followed the Big Ten. So I can tell you, I've seen her do that. I've seen her do those antics. But now when the shoe's on the other foot, it's a problem. But that's where everything started. And
Mhm.
because Iowa did not win the championship, because a lot of people wanted to see Iowa, because it's in the heartland, and I get it. You relate to it, and that's fine. But because LSU and because, the Bayou Barbie, and, you don't like that, and because Angel Reese has a swag about her that turns certain people off. That's where it all started from. And you want to have one pit against the other, where realistically they've even said it, and you've seen it when on Team USA, they're like best friends. They're really cool with each other. They've grown up together. They've grown up in the AAU circuit in high school and so on and so forth. So it's like, we're trying to pit something that really isn't there. They're more Bird and Magic in in that respect. They have great respect for each other's game, and they're competitors on the court.
Yeah, if you look at it, do you remember it was the opening game, not this year, but the last year when the Fever played against? It was when she was on Chicago still.
Mm-hmm.
Or how
Mm-hmm.
she injuries
Mm-hmm.
did something to another player.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Caitlin Clark said it wasn't intentional, you could I would say it's maybe a little bit different. And when she came up and hit her, where she knocked
Mm-hmm.
her down on that pass on that rebound she was trying to get, and then
Mm-hmm.
she like lunged injuries like lunged at her. But if you
Mm-hmm.
look at that game compared to the one that they just had, where the Fever were facing, because she's on the Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
team now.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing. There was no problem there. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you're playing sports, we understand the heat of the moment gets to you. It just does.
Yeah.
Like imagine Angel Reese and I'm not saying what she did in that moment was right. She definitely fouled that girl, and she definitely should have
Mm-hmm.
gotten it called, but she didn't. And Caitlin Clark just went up straight to her, blocked her shot, and kind of knocked her down. She was like, "What the fuck you just do?" But the next year,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine because it happens,
Mm-hmm.
guys. You get in the heat of the
Mm-hmm.
moment, and shit just happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really do that anymore. I'm a little more reserved and control. But even sometimes I'll be like, just a few months ago at work, someone just said some shit to me, and I actually took the brush we had and threw it at the fucking window. I didn't break anything, but just things happen. Things
Mm-hmm.
just sometimes you get overwhelmed with certain things happen, and when you're in the heat of the environment like that, because keep in mind
Mm-hmm.
in that game. The opening one last year, man,
Mm-hmm.
she was going for free throws. The entire crowd was booing her. She was just in tears. I was like, fuck, that's crazy. Yeah, and she's mostly breaking down in an opening game. To be fair, she was having a lot of problems in her Chicago team. Apparently, there was a lot of drama
Mm-hmm.
going on or whatever. I don't know what was
Mm-hmm.
specifically going on, but you can tell she's way more happier being on
Mm-hmm.
the Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
team than she was in the Chicago team.
Oh,
Actually, so
Chicago's a different story, man. Because you got Skylar Diggins over there, and now you're benching her, one of the all time greats, and she came there to help change the franchise, and now you want to, and everyone I know for the most part, except when Candace went there to help them win the championship, they want to get out of Chicago because that serious no seriously, it's a problem. I
dude, but the
mean, there
Bulls
was a
too. The Bulls have it too. For some reason, these leaderships in the Chicago teams, both WA and
but
these people are just fucking out of touch or
it's
something.
more than that. It's you're not treating professionals like professionals. There was a point in time where Chicago was dressing literally in a public locker room, in a public women's locker room. No, these are paid professional athletes. You don't do that. Now look, the WNBA, they're fighting for more, to be on par with all the other pro sports that are out there. You just got, charter flights. Okay, cool. And I understand the women have to fight more. I mean, it's just like now. When like Paige Beckers the other day, she stood up and she said, "We need more Black women coaches in the WNBA." It's a problem when you don't have Black women head coaches in the WNBA. But you're giving the position in some regards to men, but you're not giving it to the Black women. But yet and still, you go through college, go through high school. these young black girls, they're there. So where are they now? Why are they not? Indiana has probably one of the best young coaches in Brianna January. I loved her. I loved her as a player. I hated her because she was on Indiana. Don't get me wrong, but I loved her game because of how she played it, how smart she is, how fundamentally sound, and you can see that she's tough. She's going to tell you the truth. She ain't going to hold it back. She's not going to sugarcoat it. She's the type of coach that, this league needs, as a head coach. Now I'm not going to say minorities because, you have an Indian head coach in Seattle and you have an Asian head coach in Golden State. So it's not that you're not going to give minorities an opportunity, but when you look at the makeup of the league, come on now, you have, what is it? 60%, I believe, is black or something to that percentage. It's like, well, where are the black women head coaches? Because the players can relate a little bit more. So, they want to see, players who look like them because they also can feel like the game is growing and it's advancing, and that's a problem. So, yes, when you have a Paige Becker stand up and say it, you need more players. Caitlin Clark, you're supposed to be one of the top faces of the league. Well, stand up and speak on it. So black players, it's a given. You know that they're going to say that, but you need those white players to step up and say fair is fair across the board. If they're the best candidate, fine.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about like being some DEI hire, like a lot of people would say. If they're the most
Hmm.
qualified person for the job and they have a resume to prove it, there's
Hmm.
no reason why they shouldn't be a head coach. There's
And
no, I
that's
mean,
that's that's the that's the problem. I
there's
mean,
some
it.
people, there's some NBA head coaches you would say, "Good Lord, you are a fraud." I don't know
Yes,
why you're here at all,
yes, yeah,
honestly.
of course,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
So, but
But
that's
to be
the
Caitlin
that's
Clark, she did speak about it. Remember when
oh,
her first,
okay. I
no, no,
stand
no, no,
corrected.
not this year. But you remember when she did speak about something very similar when her first year when she got Rookie of the Year. She had said
Mhm,
something. She had said something along the lines of like, I think black women built the league, and like she got a whole bunch of backlash for that. But and because
mm,
there was a bunch of clips everyone kept watching of like her getting like what they deemed as like assaulted by black
mhm,
women, even
mhm,
though some of those were not intentional. If you just watch the game, it was complete. This is what happens in sports.
mhm,
People who don't play sports always seem to think everything's intentional. It's like, no, this is just sports. It's physical. Like people couldn't even.
mhm,
I'm surprised people can even handle watching football. I'm surprised because you couldn't last a day watching football if you think that's if that's too tough. She talked about like black women had built the league and stuff like that, and they're like,
mhm,
why are you saying that? Aren't they being so mean to you? It's like, but guys, most of her teammates are black and they
mhm,
like her very well. Just pointing out here, and keep in mind, it could be for optics. Maybe her agent told us that. I don't
mm,
know. But when you're talking about a lot of this stuff, there's so much nuance there you have to explain to people because everyone just, like I said before earlier, everyone just kind of thinks of things in just one way, or it's just
mhm,
black and white,
mhm.
pun intended. Oh my God, I'm doing it. Everything's just black and no,
But there's nothing wrong with saying black and white like that.
no, no.
What's the context?
No, it's just a joke. We're talking about getting,
Oh, no,
God.
I mean, no, I get what you're saying. I get what
Yeah.
you're saying.
No, but
It's
I
just,
did see what she said, Paige Brooker, because she's on the Dallas team. I remember her
mhm,
saying
mhm,
that actually.
mhm.
So, and because I'll ask you, since you've been watching for so long, what do you think what do you think was always holding the WNBA back? Actually,
Perception. I mean, to me, it's perception. The perception that women can't play like men. There's always the narrative there. I mean, I'm sorry. I've always said it with the WNBA. The WNBA is better than the NBA. Period. Case closed. Because the women are fundamentally sound. There's too many times where the men are not fundamentally sound with the way they play the game. You look at like my Knicks this year, one of the biggest things was ball movement. Too many teams get so heavily focused on give it to your superstar and let your superstar go to work. Where the women, what's up, Cave? Where the women go out and they play the game the way it's supposed to be played. Yes, there are times you give it to your superstar and let your superstar go to work. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, that doesn't happen in the WNBA, but as a whole, if you watch the game, it is it matches the way the game has been played for well over 100 years, man. Ball movement, backdoor cuts. I mean, going back to the old school Princeton cuts, things of that nature, the pick and roll, the pick and pops. They don't do that as much as they used to in the NBA. Right now, it's give it to your superstar, and whether it's you sugarcoat, or you get the referees to give you certain calls, things of that nature. But my point being is, when you play with fundamentals on um ball movement, you have the ball on the strong side, and they're defending you get well, but now you can get the ball to the weak side and you have a one-on-one, then you're playing fundamentally sound. Little things like that, backdoor cut, backdoor screens, and then on the defensive end, you see five players playing together as one defensively. That's why I speak about Golden State. I'm telling you, go watch their defense when they play, when they're all, and this isn't just the five starters. This is the whole team. They have the defensive principles down pat. I'm a defensive guy, man. I'm old school. I get it. I love the 80s and the
You'd be able to teach
90s.
the Sparks something about defense. Apparently, they're ranked like what, second to last in defense.
Hmm, hmm,
It's crazy. When I say that, people are going to be like, "Well, did the Fever beat them?" No, they didn't. They were winning the game at some point, and then they
hmm,
just
hmm.
how they lose to the Sparks is insane.
Well,
I don't get it. I you I don't understand. How could they lose to a team like that? It's insane. They
hmm,
don't have Kelsey Plum right
hmm.
now. Sparks are pretty
Well, I
bad.
mean, I get that, and I get the perception, but let's you always have to understand something. These are pros, and any pro team can beat any pro team at any given time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, you have your superstars, and yes, sometimes you quote unquote play down to your the level of your competition. Yes, that happens too, but sometimes, you know what, the team that we say is trash, they have talent, and if sometimes they're just not playing together, or there's little things, that impact their play, but they have talent. So if they all get on the same accord across, and that's all pro sports, you know, that's why I say the outside noise. Like, if you sat down and you went through every player in every sport and you looked at their lives, sometimes you got this one worrying about his woman or his girl cheating on him or getting a divorce, child support. It's like all that stuff adds up. Like, if you could take all distractions away and just let players go out and play, let their talent speak for themselves, games would be a lot more competitive. But a lot of people also don't like parity. They want to see one dynasty because they say that brings intrigue to pro sports, and that's ultimately what it boils down to. Players,
Yeah.
take away your distractions, focus on your game. That's all you got to do. Focus on the game. That's why when they
Well,
say they
another thing
come.
to add to your point too, if you
Mhm,
have a team that has been winning so long, then which is crazy because in league this happens a lot too. A lot of people they say this, but the numbers don't prove it. A lot of people say they get really mad at the same team that wins constantly, but that's the team with the biggest fan base though. So it's there's a lot of things that don't add up with certain people that say those things because it'll be like, well, because that's that because the NBA has had what 8 different champions the last what
mhm.
6 years or whatever, and a lot of
8
people,
years. No, 8 years.
but that'd be great if like one team was just winning it all. Yeah, but then you would just not you, but like then the same
Mm,
person would just complain the same mouth, be like, well,
well,
one person's just winning everything, and it's like, well, what do you want then? Like, because if a different team is winning different years, that does show that shows it's pretty competitive now. Because if one team is
mhm.
constantly just dominating, it's like it's like that really looked that competitive though. If one team was just constantly shitting on everyone constantly.
I mean, when you have a quote unquote dynasty, I get the perception. See,
Yeah.
everything is, number one, how people take it, and the perception. Now, if you went around and you spoke to everyone across the board of the sport, the fans of the sport, you're going to probably see it 50-50, or 60-40, somewhere in that range. Some are going to be for, and it's going to be how they're feeling at that moment, because fans, we are fans. What is fans short for? Fanatical. we're very fanatical. So, and our moods will switch at any moment.
WZ,
Um,
what? He doesn't call me a goat. He just calls you a goat. God damn it! What'd you do to WZ? He wants you to do a food podcast. That's what he wants you to do. He had said, "Tell
okay.
Coach to do a food podcast." I'm like, "You got to tell him that." Oh, why are you telling me that? I can't. What would I?
Okay. I mean,
I would just round give me make
there's
me
out.
some chicken, black man. It's like obviously no. Yeah. What the
Oh,
fuck?
I can listen, let me tell you, I can throw down in the first of all, I was a single father and I raised three daughters.
Yeah,
I
I remember.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, and matter of fact, my dad is the one that really taught me. I mean, my grandmother and my mother contributed, but my dad is the one that really sat me down and taught me how to cook and blend flavors. And so, I can throw down now. I can do my thing. I mean, and I'm a big fat guy. I mean, it takes a lot of hard work to fill this body up, man. Come on now.
This man had to get food before we started the show too. It's like I gotta make some food first. No, to be
Yeah,
fair, I was starving too. Fuck, I
yeah.
need food in my body too. Good lord. But
Yeah, I don't call myself the sexiest fat man the world will ever know for a reason now. I mean, I am. So,
oh
so
god.
I love to eat. I mean, well, y'all can't see, but I mean, I got that big gut right here. So,
What? You're only like I think you said you're like 200 pounds.
no, bro, I will never ever. I haven't seen 200 since I was probably what in the sixth grade, the
Oh
fifth grade.
no. You
Yeah,
you don't got
uh
you ever do you go to the gym or anything? Do you work out or anything like that? Or
Mm-mm. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard because for those who
okay.
don't know, I'm disabled. I mean, I'm sitting in my wheelchair right now, so
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
so but I do certain things. I mean, I do my leg exercises to rebuild my standing, my strength in my legs. So, but I mean, going to a gym right now, no, it's hard for me to get to a gym.
Yeah. Well, to be
So,
fair, you can always buy weights and stuff like that at workout at home anyway. It's,
hmm
and to
hmm
my gym memberships cost, well, every month that adds up actually. And it's crazy when it comes to those subscription things. I know you guys talk about that some of the stuff on your other shows too.
hmm
Those companies prey on the fact it's not that they just want you to have a subscription. They want you to have a subscription and they forget you ever subscribe. That way they just keep collecting
hmm
your money every single month,
hmm
you know?
hmm
Because
Unfortunately, people don't like that. I'm sorry. We do
yeah.
get distracted or so on. Look, I worked in sales for quite a few years, and I
Mhm.
mean, some of the things people would always call back in. Well, I forgot I had this on here. Take this off. I mean, it's like, well, I mean, you've had this now for 3 years. Why are you taking it off now? Why not just use it and see if you like it? But again, that's the sales coming out. That's the salesman coming out of me. But the point being is the people would always call in, and that's some of the biggest things. Well, I forgot I had that, and take it off, and can you give me credit back for? Whoa, I mean, you've had it for 3 years. I mean, no, you forgot to take it off. That's on you. So but yeah,
Yeah, well, yeah,
companies
because it
do
does
prey on
fall
you.
on the consumer to
Hmm
read what's on their bill too, you know? Because like, I'll go on my Spectrum account and it'll be like, because it will usually say the bill amount and everything, but there was
hmm
some months a few years ago where I was like, why is this so much? Like, because
hmm
they added in something that I know wasn't there because I only have the internet package because that's all I need. I don't have cable. I was like,
hmm
sir, why am I getting charged for cable? I don't have cable. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll take this off. It's like, sure. I've had only
hmm
internet for the last I've paid this bill for the last fucking 10 years of my life. How did I just randomly just add cable when I don't even have cable? What did
hmm
fucking
hmm
Casper
hmm
come in here and install that shit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into that because I work for Verizon, so I mean, there's
Oh,
so
can't
many things
reveal the
that.
secrets. God damn it.
Now it's not that it's just it's my pet peeve, because I always get the I just rather go with streaming and cable. I'm like, because cable costs so much. Okay, well, add up your internet, because your internet, when you don't have a package, actually goes up. Is You're paying a higher price. So if you add up that plus all your streaming services, do you not realize you're paying the same amount? I
Yeah, that's
mean,
what some people do.
you really
Yeah,
are. The only
yeah.
thing you probably don't have is your local programming on certain packages or certain streaming apps. So it's like, man, come on, man. You just enjoy it. Enjoy what you like. Stop complaining about it. They're all the same thing. I don't care if it's one company. I don't care if it's a singular streaming, and they're separating everything so you can, hello, You can get Netflix, HBO Max, you get this one, you get Stars, you get all these streamings, and then you're paying for the same thing. But if you have cable, sometimes cables give you a good deal. They include this or that, but then, like you said earlier, pay attention because after a certain point in time, you got to pay for it. But we get distracted by life.
It's crazy. People are so well. I don't even understand how people get distracted by. I understand how people get distracted by certain things, but when people are working that much and they're paying apparently they're paying all these bills. How do you not look at? Do you just not look at what you're paying, or you just go and hit pay and you just go about your day? It's
Yes.
like
Yes,
they
bro.
don't look at their
The
bank
the
statement.
average
There's
the
bank statements
average
and shit.
person, because think about this. If you took every bill that you have, your credit card bill, your car
Mm,
payment, your mortgage, if you really took the time, because you're right, if you take the time, you sit down and you go over every bill, but that's time consuming.
you're right.
Sometimes we don't have the time. It's easy to just go on your phone, click pay, and go about your business. But now, if you sit down, going over your bills has always been a chore, and it's way before I was even born. You got to sit down and you got to look at everything. You got to read everything. You got to read the fine print. That takes time, and people don't have the
Mm.
patience for it. They don't have the time for it. I said it earlier. We're in a microwave era. We just boom, 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 boom. No, you're right. Take your phone or take your computer and
Dude,
go
there's
over
people that
every
walk
bill.
into McDonald's not even reading what a special promotion is, which is like 2 sentences. That's like 2 sentences. That's like, what, 14 words
But
max?
but it's time consuming. I
3,
get what you're
14
saying.
words?
Bro, seriously, yes. We don't have the patience. You may find it hard to believe, but think
Oh,
about
I
it,
agree with
man.
you. I've seen it. I know people are
Yeah, you just go in, you want this, you have your mind set up. You probably looked at the menu ahead of time and looking on what's this going to cost. All right, I want this, this,
yeah,
this. I got the taste for this. I don't want to read any promotions or anything else, and that's going to waste my time. You're complaining about somebody in front of you going through this and asking this. Yo, come on,
yeah.
hurry up. Come on. I get what you're saying, but the reality is we ain't got time.
Especially when you're
We
traveling too. Like, you don't definitely don't wanna be
Mhm.
doing all that when you're man, we had this
Nope.
black lady just start freaking out. Oh, man, several black families just recently. What's crazy, I never really went through a lot of that. Several of them just freaking out. Like, one of them came in and just started asking for free drinks. Just free drinks. They're like, we can't pay with EBT because they want to pay with EBT, but you can't pay at that window because that window doesn't have that. They're like,
Mhm.
can you just give it to us for free? No. I lose my job for that. Fuck no. Hell no.
Mhm.
I'm not risking my
Mhm.
job for that shit.
Well, I
Hell
mean
no.
I mean, everybody loves something free. I mean, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. A closed mouth don't get fed. So,
That's
if you
true.
you
Yeah.
you gotta at least ask. All
That's
you
what
can say is no,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So,
At my other job, well, so at my other job, it was the Domino's one. That one would give out free. Like, if I want to take something for stuff for free and give it out, they won't care. Because like, different jobs have different things like that. Some
Mhm.
of them just don't
Mhm.
give a fuck. The other ones are like, no,
Mhm.
you can't do that because we have to count for this. And
Mhm.
that's why I understand why people pay for accountants to do all that shit in business. I wouldn't want to do any of that shit. You can do all that. I'll pay you to do that. Is that
Mhm.
lazy? Probably, but you can do it. There's a reason why there's jobs for that. There's always jobs for
Mhm.
someone to do something that someone else will not do or is unwilling to do.
It's
Or
the
that,
reality of life. That's the world we live in. I said it earlier. We
yeah,
don't have the patience for it. We are equipped to do just about any and everything.
hmm
Seriously. I mean, I can go back to my earlier years as well, I mean, I should have never left Catholic school, but going to public school and now that I know it, and then and when I first went to college, and I just wanted to play football and chase the girls. That was it. That was it. My grades was in the toilet, but I didn't care. And then as an adult, and I say that with, in my 40s, when I went back to school and I got my degree and I graduated with high honors, it was just like, Ed, you're so fucking lazy. If you had just had taken the time, I probably would have had 2 or 3 undergrads, a master's, a PhD by now. I joke with my mother. I'm like, if I had technology the way y'all do nowadays, yeah, yeah. That's how I graduated. I'm going to school online. So, online is better for me.
no,
So,
If I knew then what I know now, my life would
Mm-hmm.
be so much more better. Good
Mm-hmm.
lord. If I knew
But
that about things that I collected throughout my life, because I had this problem in my life where I always wanted to kind of move on past things too quickly, but I should have just kept
patience.
them. But I started to, sell them off. But it's
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. There's only one. There's only I don't really regret stuff, but I only regret like one or two things specifically, and that was like I shouldn't have ever did that. But that's life. You live and learn. Actually, but speaking of living
Mm-hmm.
and learning,
Mm-hmm.
WNBA here is standing. So we'll get some of your opinions on some of the things happening right now. Let me get here. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, I forgot. This is different from the NBA. So the Fever and the Atlantic Dream are fifth and sixth respectively. This is still split from comp because is this in different?
No,
So
you. This is different. This is
this is
different.
oh okay.
Yeah, they broke it down by conference where I can. What side are you looking at right
This
now?
is the WNBA.com. This is
You
where you get the
sure?
standings in the games because the game's coming up today. What's coming up today?
Because I'm
Fever
looking
is
at
playing.
League View in the WNBA.com site, and they have everybody collective. It's Minnesota, Vegas, Golden State, Dallas, Indiana, Atlanta, New York, Washington are your top 8 teams.
Yeah, I don't know what. Oh, because this is centered off win loss ratio. Okay, now I get it. Yeah, but
No, but you
well,
have it broken down it's broken down by conference. What I'm saying, it doesn't have like because
oh,
I'm on
okay.
the
I'll
website.
just go to that one then. It doesn't matter. That's
It's
what I want.
WNBA.com. That's the one that I usually
Oh,
use. It's either that or I go to CBSSports.com and they'll give me
you're good. Yeah. Okay, we'll use this one because that'd be a lot more. Because I don't know why it's structured like that. It shouldn't be structured like this. It's
yeah,
not even structured like that for the NBA. The NBA, when it's the conferences, they structure them by like who's
mm-hmm.
first or whatever. I don't know why that one is not structured that way. That's just really odd. But
Yeah,
it doesn't
no, that
matter.
one, yeah, they have a conference view where you can look at the conference,
Yeah, got them
but
right here.
everything is the top 8, for the playoffs. So there you have it. Yep,
There
there
you
you go.
go. Okay, Minnesota leading with 18-6. Do you think they're the best team right now?
The fee hasn't even come back, so that their best player has been out all year. So
Ooh,
and that's the thing. Once you get her back, it wasn't expected that they would be up here. Shout out to Coach Reeves; she has done a phenomenal job in what she's done. Olivia Miles, hands down, far and away, rookie of the year. I just went over that yesterday. So they have been playing extremely well. So when they get feedback, yeah, they're going to be even tougher. Vegas, the defending champs. I
yeah, they
mean,
did lose the Fever yesterday, but let's be
yes,
honest here, they're still going to be a pretty good team for the
yeah.
rest of the
And
season.
like I said, you got Golden State there. Like I said,
Man,
they're playing well overall. You even look at their, to the far right. You even see their because I always go by 10-game windows. So, and you see Golden State right now is at winning at about 80% rate, and then Dallas. Like I said earlier, those are the top 4 teams for me right now. Indiana is starting to creep up there, but they've been a little bit inconsistent. Some of it you can say with Caitlin Clark trying to figure out things, the drama there, but Indiana's right there. Atlanta, they're creeping up. Now they've been 4-6 over the last few games, but I think they just won the last 2. So they're starting to get into their rhythm. And don't get me started on New York. They're
what
trash.
happened? You guys won
It,
the
it,
conference cup. They won
mm,
their doing the conference cup, and they
it's
started
not
just
even about the
losing.
Conference Cup right now. I will say this. I'll be fair with New York. They've had a lot of injuries, a lot of injuries. Players in and out. Satu Sabali hasn't played that much all season. Sabrina just came back. She's starting to get into her rhythm. Benajelini came back after being out all last year. Leonie Filibish has been out the last 3 or 4 games. So they've been having a lot of injuries. Plus, you have a new coach with his philosophy. I had issues with it, but I get it. So New York is a work in progress. They have the talent, but they're just not blending together, and the injuries are a big factor. Also, turnovers. They're probably one of the highest turnover team that
Yeah,
gives up the ball. So That's a problem. And as you see right there, 3-7 over the last 10. They're
Yeah,
just
it's
not.
disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah. So
After someone that just won the
and
which is
it's
essentially,
funny because Brianna Stewart is having a great year. She's really having a great. She's been carrying the team. Jonquel Jones has been starting to step up. She was getting acclimated. This is one of the reasons why I don't like the offensive system with New York, because the coach came over from Golden State and he brought that 5-out philosophy. And you're now taking one of the best bigs in the league from the paint, and you're putting her out, and she can shoot the three. Don't get me wrong. But
Mhm.
when you start the game and she's consistently shooting threes, no, you got to put a big down low. Let her get the feels, let her get the touches, possibly draw fouls against the opposition, then bring her out. And I've never been, and I get it with Steph Curry, but that team was constructed differently than the Liberty. The Golden State Warriors never had a big capable who was capable like Jonquel Jones, who can get points down in the box.
Mhm.
And that's the issue. That's my personal issue. There's a lot of other Liberty fans who like it. They just wish the team with the injuries, they make those excuses. But I look at everything. The
'Cause
culture
weren't
philosophy.
the Liberty were they were top 2 last time we were looking at them when it
They
came
were
to,
they were up there
the
for a
offseason
while, yes.
episode. Yeah, they were
Think about it. That
yeah.
3-7, that means they were 10-4 at one point. So that's telling you they
It
were
goes to
10
show
and
you how crazy, like, regular seasons can go. Because, like, a lot
yes.
of people are gonna be like, "Well, regular seasons don't matter and there's no stakes to them." Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. A team that started 10-4 that is now 13-11, yeah, they're feeling it, and they're sweating it. It's just like, I don't know why people keep saying things like regular season stuff doesn't affect people. It's like, guys, people's jobs are affected by this. You have a bad season, you could just be out of a
I will
job.
say this, um, New York cannot sleep because Washington is right on their butt. Los Angeles, they just lost to Toronto and Phoenix. They lost 2 games to Phoenix earlier in the year.
That Phoenix team
So
is pretty bad. I
no,
watched some of their
Phoenix is
games.
okay. They're okay. It's just that I mean, not Phoenix, Portland. I'm sorry. They lost 2 games to Portland. I
Oh,
said
okay.
Phoenix.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about that
Portland.
Phoenix team. I was
No.
watching some of their games, I was like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, God, it's
Phoenix has issues, but
Phoenix is rough."
Portland and Toronto, the 2 new expansion teams, and New York has played them 5 times, and they've lost 3 games to those 2 teams. So again, they lost to Los Angeles, they've lost to Washington, they lost to teams that they should not have lost to, which affects your overall record. But when you earlier in the year, about 2 weeks ago, you went out and you beat um, Minnesota in Minnesota, and you beat Vegas. So it's like, explain that to me. You're capable of beating the top teams, but teams that, what, you're supposed to be superior, which is why I said to you
Dude,
earlier,
yeah,
anyone
yeah.
can beat anyone.
That's what happens in this happens in leagues so much too. Like, a top team beats a top team as you expect, and then they play against a bottom, not like a bottom feeder, but someone that you should easily just run through. They
Hmm.
just lose them, and you're like, "Wait,
They've lost
how?
to
What
they've
the
lost to
what?"
Washington, Los Angeles, Toronto, Phoenix twice. They've lost to Seattle, in Seattle.
Was Phoenix
Those are all bottom. They've lost to between those teams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 losses right there,
Okay, so
and they're 13-11 off of and that, like I said. So New York is very inconsistent with their play. They have the talent. You can't tell me they don't. Benija Laney, who, yes, she's coming back off of an injury from last year, but she's a good player. And for some reason, this coach really doesn't play her much. Now, I think some of it has because she had knee injuries last year, so she had to sit out for the whole year. So there's always takes a year to get back to who you were. She looks a little bit slow, a little bit heavier, so I get it. But they're very inconsistent. Maureen Johannes, one of the elite 3-point shooters, but then she disappears. And I don't know what it is with it. I don't know if it's coaching or what. She was never like this before,
hmm,
where it would fluctuate. You had Pauline Ostier, rookie who came over from France, started the season. Now, look, she was starting. I get it. But, when players started coming back, you regulated her to um I'm sorry, you regulated her to the bench, and I know that's an adjustment for her, and now she's back in the starting lineup because of the injuries. So again, there's just so much. Hanju, 6'11" center who can shoot the three, but that's all you really much want her for. Instead of, at least she can go down in the box and she can score just by being 6'11". She's 5, 6 inches taller than everyone else. Now she's light, but her length causes problems. So it's like, when I look at them, and again, I'm a New York Liberty fan, so that's why I can dissect them the most. But I know these teams very well. Atlanta, they've been out with their enforcer Brianna Jones, but they've been doing well. Once she comes back and she gets acclimated, they're going to be a problem. You see what Indiana is doing. They're still trying to me, they're still trying to figure it out, because when Kelsey Mitchell runs this team, Indiana is just that much better. But
Mhm.
Caitlin Clark is the darling of the league.
Yeah, because I wanted to
But
go over that because I was watching a good amount of the games to make sure that I was catching up. When
so,
I'm watching the Fever play,
mhm.
maybe I'm wrong. Why does it feel like if when she's not on the court, they're doing just as fine, if not better, without her sometimes?
They do play better because they play freer. It just seems like they're a totally different team. And
Right?
like I said,
Yeah.
Kelsey Mitchell is running the team, and she, first of all, she's a vet, so she's been in the league so much more. She's lightning fast, and that's the other
Kelsey
thing.
Mitchell is on. Well, to be
She
fair, you
is
could argue that for a lot of their players. Kelsey Mitchell, Leah Boston, Sophie, all of
I
them are
love
having
Aaliyah. I
great,
love her.
great season.
She
Leah
is
Boston, in my opinion, because I watched a good amount of. Should she be in the conversation to at least be the MVP? Because she's
no,
been.
no,
You think she should
no,
be the MVP, or at
no,
least
no,
consideration for the MVP?
no, no, no. You got Paige Becker, you got Olivia
Yeah,
Miles,
right.
who
Yeah,
are doing a whole lot more. Leah, now don't get me wrong,
she's
I
having a
love
good
Leah
season.
Boston. I love her. I love her game. I love everything about her. I wish she was on the Liberty personally. I know some people, say her play is dirty, but look, they're all physical.
Yeah, yeah.
But the way she plays, I mean, she's phenomenal. I think she plays better with Kelsey. Her, those two with the pick and roll, the pick and pop. Because Aaliyah does have a good, decent outside shot. So um, it's just, look, you have Caitlin Clark, she's one of the quote unquote faces of the league, and she's the lead guard. That's the issue, because I think her and Kelsey really play the same position. So, which is why I don't think Kelsey will be there after this year. I know they re-signed her for 1 year, but I think
Oh, I
she's
know a
going
lot of people love Sophie Cunningham right now, and I do too. But she also
to.
signed for 1 year too.
Hmm.
So if she does, and she
Hmm.
talks about this a lot. She was like, "Well, I kind of want to be at this point in my career where I wanted to win." And when
Hmm.
every time I hear a player say that, if they don't win in that season, they're not usually with that team the next season.
Hmm.
So some of
Hmm.
these players might not be there with the Fever this year if they
And
win. That's why I asked you, like, is this a year you see them winning the trophy? Because I've heard
no,
some of their
I
players
can't.
say
I can't.
if
I
we don't
can't.
because
Mm-mm.
dude, you've heard these players on this team say, "I've only signed for 1 year. I'm trying to
Mhm.
win at this point in my career."
I don't
What
think
that means. You
Indiana,
know what that means.
right?
There's a ticking time bomb on that person being on that
Here's the
team.
thing. Indiana is the way thing, because right now they're
Mhm.
playing Dallas
They're
in
playing
the
Dallas.
4 or 5. They, because it's the top 8 make the playoffs, so 4 or 5 plays each
Yes,
other.
yes. Mhm.
So they would actually have to play Dallas, and I don't think, now they do have the low post over Dallas, but in the backcourt they're equal, because Dallas, has Paige Becker, and they have Arika, who can match up. Arika can match up with Kelsey, so don't get it twisted. And Paige and Caitlin match up well. So Indiana does with Aaliyah Boston. They have a little bit, but
I
Jessica
wanted to,
Shepard is come out of nowhere, and she is phenomenal, and she can play that stretch 5 or stretch 4. So
mhm. So I wanted to
you
get
know,
some of your predictions for some of these games coming up. So you have Storm versus Sky. Who do you got winning?
what's
Oh
that
God,
tomorrow?
this is
That's
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would think the Storm could, go because the Sky right now are in disarray for me. So the Storm, they have a lot of young talent. They're just a very young team, but I'm telling you right now, in another year or two, they will easily be one of the top, I would say, four teams in the league. So, but I'll give that game to the Storm. Well, it's, is that wait a minute, 9 a.m. Is that your time or Eastern
Pretty sure it's
time?
my time.
Oh, okay, so that'll be 12 noon, so, um, that might you know what? That might go to the Sky because that's a big difference from Seattle to Chicago. But, talent-wise, I would like the Storm. The Lynx, to me, the Lynx should take care of the Sparks.
Yeah, yeah.
But, look,
If the
oh, yeah,
Sparks can show up like they did against Indiana, I mean, you like you said, anything's possible. But
yeah.
how often do you expect that though?
No,
It's
no,
like,
no, no, right now. No, I mean Olivia Miles just put up a 30 piece her last game. So and she's starting to get hot even more as a
mhm,
rookie. She's figuring out the game. So and then the biggest thing with the Lynx, Natasha Howard, phenomenal. She left Indiana and now she's playing over there, and her game is starting to step up even more as the low post player, and that's only going to help. You also got one of the finest, Duhas, who just came back from overseas. I just love me some Duhas. I loved her at UConn. So she's that gritty type of 6'5" center. She does all the dirty work. She doesn't have to score a lot, but she'll get the rebound, set the screens,
mhm.
defend, and you would love her too because she's your type of woman anyway. So
Hey, I love me some. Oh my god, what's that one Sparks player? Oh my god, I forgot her name sometimes.
Cameron Brink, I know who you're
Oh
talking
my
about.
god, just whoo!
Mhm. Mhm. You ain't
I
even
love.
gotta tell me. I know who you're
Ah,
talking about.
I
So
know me some. I love my
so
ice cream. I love my snow bunnies. Oh
so
god,
oh,
well,
wait a minute. You wanna go there? Oh, wait a minute.
uh, we have
So,
then we have
but the Valkyries and the Fever, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's gonna be a battle. And now the Valkyries love to shoot the three, but they defend at a high level. And they have a low post who can rival Aaliyah. She doesn't have to score, but she can defend in Kia Stokes. Kia Stokes is won multiple championships with the Aces. She was with the Liberty, with Connecticut. She's been around the league
mhm,
and she played at UConn, so she knows how to play. And she's added a 3-pointer to her game. Now she's not consistent with it, but she never was shooting a three before, and now she is with the Valkyries. And she, if she shoots it 5 times, I would say she would hit maybe two, 1.5 to 2 a game. So, but the Fever, the Valkyries are deep though. They're long. They get a lot of deflections, like I said, on the defensive end, and they get out to run the ball. With Caleb Burton leading the league, but then leading their offense. But you also have Caitlin Chen, who comes off the bench,
mhm.
also from who played at Princeton and UConn. But she's just a gritty type of a player, can shoot the three. She's like I said, gritty, grimy, that type of a player. She fits your defensive philosophy, on ball pressure. But Gabby Williams, who's in consideration for defensive player of the year, played in it for France, played with Seattle last year, a dog. And then my heart, Taylor Thornton, who helped the Liberty win the championship. Another type of player like that. Like I said, they all fit together. So, and then of course you got the Fever. I mean, like I will say this: if you put Sophie Cunningham on the Valkyries, she fits in perfectly. Same type of player, same type of defensive minded,
Mhm.
shoots a three type of a player. She fits in perfectly over there. So but the Fever, Lexi Hall,
Mhm.
Leah Boston, they have players over there that can play. So
Oh,
that
Lexi
would be a
Hall.
good game,
Woo, man.
So that's a toss up. I'll be honest, that's a toss up. Um, because whew,
Because my thing with the Fever is when I was watching their Sparks game and I was watching them play pretty fine in most of the first quarter. just to look at them and just see what is this down. It's just so odd. Like you can see just such a downgrade in ball movement and play throughout each quarter. Just go, with each passing minute. You're like, how and why is this getting this bad? But then the other games against Phoenix, like people are gonna look at the scoreboard and go, hey, they beat Arizona, but like guys, that game was really close though. They were actually losing that game. There's been some games where if the other players weren't super clutch and came up for them, they were gonna lose most of these games on the road because they're still on the road right now. And it's like, oh God, it's I hope they never fall into this. I hope they stop falling into this trap. Like, okay, we're the Fever, so we should just be able to just beat these guys. It's like, no, this is a pretty competitive league right now. Just because you are the Fever doesn't mean you're automatically just going to be winning. And you also need to be playing some defense sometime because when I'm watching some of the games, it's like, wow, God, the defense is just not there. It's like, that's why I agree with you. I don't know how you can win a championship not playing any sort of defense, right? I know Nico Harris said defense wins championships, but people mean to that. Like, you have to play some defense to win championships, right? And their defenses, guys, they lost to the Sparks, and the Sparks' defense ranks in like the bottom half. Like, literally, like, what was like second to last? That shouldn't even be happening, So we'll see how it goes with Caitlin and the girls. Thursday for this week coming. Yeah, this is this week. Yeah, it's in a few days.
I would take the Mystics over there. Right now, the Liberty. Unfortunately, I'm going to take the Wings. The Liberty have not beaten the Wings at all this year, and they lost both. They lost 2 times to the Wings in New York. So now they're in Dallas. And like I said, you saw where the Wings are standing right now in the league, and the New York's next 2 games at Dallas and at Indiana. So this can either the next 2 games can push them 4 games over 500 or bring them down to 500. So it's a fight. It's going to be a fight for the Liberty. So, but right now I'm not confident. And I'm sorry, New York fans, y'all can kill me. You can call me a fake fan, whatever you want. I don't care. I've been true blue since day one, but I'm also honest and I'm also fair.
Yeah, that also happens with me sometimes too when people hear me criticize some of the teams that I follow. It's like, hey, I'm being honest here. There's a lot of issues here. If the team I'm supporting does win, I'm happy. But it's like, if I see them lose, it's like, well, I'm not going to be surprised either, I don't know if you saw this a week ago. I didn't get your opinion. Oh my God, that's a girl on Instagram. Oh my God, fucking hell. Why am I looking at gooning material on Instagram all the time? Give me one sec. The Sparks got rid of her. I want to get your opinion. Oh my God. They just got rid of this player. Oh my God. Come on. Right here. I'm getting old, man.
The Sparks?
Yeah, they got rid of it was thank you. They put out a thank you for some player. I forgot. I'll put it right now. Okay, so you had Mystics, then you had Wings, Storm Fever. Who you have?
I'll give that one to the Fever.
Okay.
The Temple Dream. That's another toss-up. The Temple seem to be playing a lot better. Marina Mayberry, shout out to the Jersey girl, is playing phenomenally this year. But the Dream, they're another team. I'll give it to the Dream. I'll give that one to the Dream. I'll give the Sparks in the Sky. I'll give that one to the Sparks. And the Sun and the Mercury, I'll actually give it to the Sun.
What's crazy with some of these bad games? I don't think we win. I think we just lose time watching some shit. Oh God. They let go of her. They let go of Laura Ziegler. Did you have any opinions about her leaving? Or did you see her play any games actually? No? Man, oh, God. Gorgeous. Oh, fucking white ladies. Good Lord. They always do it to me. Why are they letting all the white girls go? Come on. What are you doing?
Man, chill with that, man. A woman is a woman, period. I love them all. I don't discriminate, man. I mean, black, white, Latino, Asian, it don't matter. Native American, it don't matter.
I will say, typically, I don't really laugh when some people say these certain things, but I remember it was when Reese came back and she dominated Vegas last night. Remember how people were like, oh my God, but you don't, dude, she had like this certain percentage of shooting, and she was like, it'd be like that sometimes. They're like, all right, okay. All right, at least, okay. At least she's not getting angry with it. She just play into it. Just play into
Yeah.
it. She was like, it just be like that.
Look,
Shooting
look
10% from the field. I guess, but I mean, hey, wins
here's the
wins.
thing with
Bro,
with
she
Angel
dominated. She
Reese.
had a double-double. She actually had a really good
Yes,
game last night.
yes, but here's the thing too. That girl making money. That girl making money. She know that. So, and some of the people who say things, she look at you and laugh because are you making money like me? And it's not even on the court. It's off the court. She's making money. Hello, she just bought ownership in a league recently. I mean, doesn't that tell you she got money? And her investments are growing. When her modeling is taking. Come on, man, watch her walk down the runway and see that. Come on, man.
you know,
Come on, man.
when I pass by the ice cream section, all I'm looking at is the cookies and cream, or at least the vanilla. Hey, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you like your preference. I get you. I don't begrudge you. I
I
mean,
do
you
like
do
Rocky
you.
Road sometimes, but I will say this: do you like chocolate ice cream? Not like not black girls. Good lord. Do you
Uh,
like? Do
if
you?
you're talking about ice cream, I don't. I'm fine with chocolate. Yes, I do on
No, but
occasion.
don't you find it jarring that someone would walk into a restaurant and go, you know what? I want a chocolate shake. It's like, just chocolate shakes. Oh God, those are so
There's
gross.
nothing wrong with a chocolate shake, bro.
Yeah. Ice cream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I'm not talking women. I'm talking about the ice cream, the actual ice cream.
yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm very see. I don't have like my kids growing up. They always wanted Neapolitan. That was their favorite.
I like that one
I'm
sometimes. That one's okay.
I'm versatile. It depends on if it's Rocky Road, it's cherry jubilee, buttered pecan, chocolate mint, regular vanilla, chocolate. It doesn't matter, but that it depends on my mood. I'm the type of person most people like. I don't like being around you because I don't know what you're gonna like. It depends on your mood. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't want you to know it and do things and figure me out.
Butter pecan.
No.
I will say everyone always brings up butter pecan. I don't
Mhm.
think I've had that.
Oh,
I know it's a
okay.
common flavor of ice cream. I should probably
Mhm.
eventually try it. It's always around. I've just never had it.
Well,
Never had that.
if you don't like nuts, then I
Oh, I love
wouldn't.
nuts. Oh God.
So I mean, it's pecan and it's a buttery taste. It really is a buttery taste. It has a
Mm.
nice little mild. I don't want to say it depends. It depends on the brand, but some of it, the sweetness, for the most part, is not too intense. So it goes from a mild to a slightly above mild,
Yeah,
but
like, I've had
you
those
know,
butter pecan Little Debbie
hmm
sweets. I've had those
hmm
before, and those were
yeah,
okay. I'm fine. It was one of those ice creams where it's always been around, but I've never actually gotten around
yeah.
to just
So
actually trying it. I mint stuff. Oh, I can't. Mint. I don't know who just goes around and like, I want mint flavored ice cream. Oh God, that's strong. You mint.
I meant mint chocolate chip. I just said it.
You're
Depends on
wild.
my why.
You're
I mean,
crazy. Mint. You actually like mint flavored.
butter. I love butter. I mean, the rum. I what it? Damn it. Yeah, it's a rum. I forgot the name of it, but it's a rum ice cream. But I mean, it's also the West Indian in me. I mean, I like rum cake. Let it soak in the rum. Let it like my grandmother would make it, and then she would soak it in the rum. Let it sit overnight, that it really absorbs it. And then, yeah, as kids, yeah, we used to. She used to give it to us. It knock us out sometimes, but yeah, we love it. Yeah, man. I mean, but yeah, rum. Oof, yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, it's for me an ice cream now because I used to buy a whole tub. I like the little I like the like you know how like you have you seen Great Value those cups they have?
hmm
I like
hmm
that size. You can just eat it and you just don't have to worry about it because a tub is just too much for me sometimes. Not because I can't eat it. It's just I know I'm not gonna finish it in a due
Oh,
time. And I
that's
may end up
you.
throwing it
That's
away.
you.
That's because
I
I'm
bet
old, man. I'm flown
you
out.
ain't hardly old. You gotta stop saying that, bro, because you ain't nowhere nears me. My oldest is older than you. My oldest and my middle is probably older than you.
Do you like what's it? Unicorn Sparkle? What the fuck is
No, I don't, the birthday type of stuff, and then it's more for kids. I do admit, I do tend to stay away from those
Coffee
if they're
flavored
extreme.
ice creams?
I don't even drink coffee. I don't like coffee.
You don't like coffee? Oh, that's a
No,
hot take. I
no.
Coffee is an
Well,
acquired taste though.
no,
I
it's not that. It's as a kid, my mother used to drink it, so I used to just steal hers, and she was extremely light and heavy. Like she would put 15 sugars in hers, and it eventually it turned me off because it was too sweet.
Oh
It was
God,
too sweet. So, and then one
I
time I
preferred
drank
hot
it
chocolate.
coffee. Yeah, see, I'll do hot chocolate, I'll do
I
tea,
prefer
I
that
can
one.
do
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So, give me a good tea, I'm good. Especially if it's mild and calming, like, chamomile. Yeah, I'm good there. I'm good.
No, the last few things to cover. I know we talked about the WBA. Well, more to talk about
Mm-hmm.
next because there's been a lot more games. Guy on your team, Josh, was it? Yeah, Jordan Clarkson.
Mm-hmm.
He's returning to the Knicks with a
Mm-hmm.
1-year deal,
Mm-hmm.
3.9 million. So
Mm-hmm.
glad they kept him. He was a
Mm-hmm.
very good, nice focal point for the
Mm-hmm.
Knicks, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Then what else was it? Dude, every day on ESPN. I don't know if you've been keeping up with some of the times these people have been going to these videos. I'm pretty sure you have. Dude, I know LeBron not returning to the Lakers was going to be big for ESPN because they're going to spend
Mm-hmm.
20 years talking about it. It basically now is going like this. LeBron is at some point going to choose a team. Yeah, he didn't announce he's retiring. Of course he's going to choose. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
That's just straight up milking every last drop of this. It's like, yeah, I'd imagine. We said this too. We knew he was going to take his time picking a
Mm-hmm.
new team because he was the last team. He was just almost 8 years, a decade. It's like, of course he's gonna take time picking out a new team because he's been very vocal. He wants to win a trophy. He probably wants to win at least a
Mm-hmm.
couple of more trophies before retiring. The next team he goes to, he's gonna. I mean, whatever plan they have for him, it's gonna be something where can I see myself winning a championship? It's all about that. If he can't see himself winning the trophy, he's not going to probably go there. There's Philly. A lot of people think Philly. There's still Philly, Cleveland, and Miami. I
Golden
mean,
State, Denver,
Golden State could
and
be there.
Minnesota. And
Yeah,
Minnesota. So
there's all of them.
I
Yeah.
will say this. I will say this. In terms of LeBron, if it's really about a championship, winning a championship, then you take as little money as you want. You either go to OKC, you go to San Antonio, or you go to
Mhm.
New York. Plain and simple. If it's really about the championship, winning the championship,
You do what Kevin
but if
Durant
it's
did.
if it
Yeah.
if it's about you being a contributor to help the team win a championship, then it's those other teams. I'll be
He
honest with you,
he should.
yes.
You know what's crazy? I don't know how he would fit on the Knicks because I think that he would actually fit the Knicks
No, he'd
somewhat
fit.
decently well. It
He'd
just
fit.
depends on how Mike Brown would use him. He should actually have his agent ask them if there's a way to get me on the team.
No,
That wouldn't be an awful
I
team
will
for
say
him.
this. I don't think the Knicks want him.
Yeah.
Because it would the possibility is too strong that he could disrupt everything. But if you want to say can he fit in, you move Josh Hart down to the second unit, you put LeBron in right there, plain and
Hmm.
simple. And then you have a lineup of Mikal Bridges,
Hmm.
Brunson. If you have LeBron, OG, and because OG can slide over to the small forward and let LeBron play the power forward and
Yep.
Cat. That would be a tough starting five. But what type of role is he going to accept? So
Yeah.
that's the biggest
He
thing
does.
now.
He didn't like playing.
Philly, he
He didn't
can
like the
go
third
there.
option.
He can
Yeah.
Cleveland, he can help them a little bit more. Miami's the same way. Minnesota, so that's the thing. So I don't see him
Donovan.
coming to New York. I don't
Yeah.
think he'll go to San Antonio.
Me
OKC, I don't
neither.
think wants
Yeah.
him. So,
His
so that
options are, I think the best. Yeah, the best options are the ones you laid out there. I would even
mhm.
say Golden State though. I would say the best options in terms of competitiveness is going to be potentially
Well,
Cleveland or Philly. That's it.
Well, Golden State. I mean, I've heard the rumors that they're trying to see if they can make a trade for Anthony Davis because
Yeah.
you'd have Anthony Davis, LeBron, Draymond, and Steph Curry for the most part. So it would put them in consideration. So yeah, they'd have to put it together ultimately, but we would
Now
see.
we're hearing the Lakers are trying to pursue Jonathan Kaminga.
Hmm.
We talking about firepower the last time we were on. Woo! If they get Jonathan
Hmm.
Kaminga, okay, now we're starting to talk here. Okay, he made a pretty big difference there in Atlanta when he was traded with the trade deadline
Hmm.
window earlier this
Hmm.
year. So
Hmm.
that wouldn't be that bad. We're
Hmm.
also hearing people are like, well, Wimbiana, he's gonna sign a max with the Spurs. I hope he would. I would
No,
really.
he didn't sign. He didn't take the max.
I don't think he took the max
He took
though.
250. He could have signed for 300. He took 300 million. He took 250.
Yep. San Antonio Spurs Victor Wembanyama has signed a 5-year,
Hmm.
252 million. maximum rookie scale contract extension with a
Mhm.
player option in the 5th season. So by 2031, he would have the option of
Mhm.
getting to decide what else he wants to do. I mean, I think he's one of those players where he's going to be staying here forever, though. Like, these are some of the players I see, like, okay, I could see you moving to another team, but I don't see it, though. I see him just being here for the long haul, actually. Any
Well, it depends again because it depends on like with his money where they are. Because remember, everything is dependent on the aprons.
You're
You
right.
still have Stefan Castle. You have Dylan Harper coming right after him too.
Mhm.
So that can affect where you are going forward. Now, do they raise the lottery? I mean the cap, all of that plays into it. So but I that's those are things that I would have to, be mindful of. But do I expect them to stay there for a long period of time? Yes. Forever? Mm,
I will always tell
um,
people this: when it comes to the playoffs and you have a high pressure situation like that, that'll always make a player rethink what they want to do. It's like they're seeing another team win right in front of them. They're having a fun celebration. It's like, yeah, I kind of want to go be a part of that, you know?
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Lakers reach a deal with Williams and CAA co-head of basketball Apron Mintz to address their wing depth, and LA continues to strongly pursue Jonathan Kuminga as a potential starting forward. Sources tell ESPN Williams averaged 10.2 points and 22.9 minutes for the Nets last season and enters his 6th campaign. So we'll see if the Lakers get Jonathan Kuminga. That's okay.
Mm,
I can see
we'll
that.
see.
Nice flexibility, nice playmaking potential right there. He can definitely, well, he's not under Steve Kerr anymore. He can definitely flex his wings a little bit there. So
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
What else want to say? Oh, last before we head out, I know on one of your shows you talk about most things New York related, right?
Heart of the city tomorrow
Yeah,
night, 9 o'clock, 9:30 with my man NYG 22.
gotcha. I never actually never asked you this. Are you gonna? What was the last movie you watched in the theaters? I know you're disabled, so it's hard to really get around.
I have
Go to
not been to the movie theater, a physical movie theater in probably
yeah.
what, almost 30 years? 30 or
What was the last movie you watched in the
28
theaters?
years? No, I don't like movie theaters. Never have. Never. I mean, it's.
So
I mean,
you
yeah,
actually
in
embraced the
high
whole
school,
streaming
yeah, you did in
ecosystem.
the high school thing. You get the little corner up in the balcony
Oh,
with your girl. That type of deal. Sure, but overall, I've never. Because back in the days when I was coming up, it was always fights. It
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
always fights. So and I mean big brawls, and it took away from the excitement. Then you add in growing costs, going back and forth, and
Concessions are a lot of money.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like and back then, no, I mean, that's 30, yeah, so it's probably been since 98 since I've been to a movie theater physically. So yeah, because my youngest was born in '99, so it was before she was born. So it was, yeah, and two kids, and back then it was just getting to be too much, and I wasn't making money like that. So so I just plus you had video, everything came out on videos within a couple weeks, so it was just like I was getting there, and I pay what I was or a little bit less than what I was paying for the movie theater with the tape, and I own it and I can watch it whenever I want. Like if you went in my storage locker right now, it's stacked with like
Physical
this is
media.
probably
Yeah.
before your time, but blockbusters. I was rivaling blockbusters with between me and my love. How many movies we have? We probably have probably 1,500 tapes.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's like she was Disney. I did a lot of variety. I even got some black exploitation movies. You name it.
You didn't mind when like the whole streaming with basically, Netflix starting the whole streaming wars thing took it over. You didn't
Well,
really
it
mind
it
that.
no, it did because I don't own it. Like, I physically have the tapes. Now look, they don't I have a VHS. So, I have a
Yeah.
VHS and a DVD player, so I have both. So,
Oh yeah,
you
for
know
sure.
yeah, but nowadays with streaming, it takes that away, so I don't physically own it. It's in a cloud. So, that's my thing where if you lose
Yeah.
access to the cloud, so I just wanna figure out how I can, take what I see and record it and then have it
Yeah.
into
You
my
a 4K Blu-ray player?
hmm?
Do you have a 4K Blu-ray player? Or you just have a
Mm,
regular DVD? Do you have a regular DVD player?
in my storage locker. It's a DVD, VHS, 2-in-1.
Okay, man, yeah, because
It's old school.
I don't know if you game at all, but
I stopped gaming back in the early 2000. Well, because I was a Madden. So I mean, before that, yeah, I did all the games, Donkey Kong, all old school, old school.
so like
You
what,
know,
Sega Dreamcast, Atari?
yeah, I did Sega, I did Atari, I did the PlayStation when they first was coming out, the Nintendos. But the thing with
So
it
around
that
the
turned me
GameCube,
off.
PS2 era,
No,
you
I
stopped?
didn't. I didn't do that. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
it was probably in 2007 I last stopped video because I used to play tournaments for and Madden tournaments
okay.
but the problem was everyone who when I went in, they would all complain because I don't play the way they play. I play football, and then they would play 5-minute quarters. So I'm like, you're giving me the football, and I'm literally eating up the quarter, and then I score a touchdown, and then you get the ball, and then I force you into a turnover, and I'm just taking my time playing football because I know how the game is going. I read
Yeah,
it, and I'm winning all the tournaments. I'm winning all the money, and then guys were like, "Nah, we don't want you to come back and play because it's no fun." Well, you know what? You're playing a football coach. I understand the game. I studied the video game. I knew their tendencies, what they were trying to do, everything. So, and then when I see other guys the way they play, and I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, I see what you're doing. You're throwing the ball up. I know what the computer's going to do. So I know how to play the coverages, get to a spot, so it was just, and everybody has their tendencies. So it was, they weren't picking up on mine. So, I played football. So, and it bored me. So I just stopped. And since '07, I haven't played another video game since 2007.
damn. What about TV shows? Do you still keep up with any TV shows?
Yeah, I do TV shows. Yeah, all the time. So,
What was the last
uh,
TV show you watched recently?
I mean, old school or new school TV shows?
Does anyone really, to be fair, based off ratings, does anyone really watch any new TV shows? I'm just saying
Yeah,
those ratings are
I was watching
I think the last
A Different World in Big Bang Theory yesterday. I was watching them,
well, Big Bang Theory, to be fair, that's
and
like mid 2010s.
mhm,
Like I
and
think the last biggest series we're watching now is House of the Dragon, but I never watched Game of Thrones like that.
I
So
did House of the Dragon for a while, but then
okay.
I shut off HBO Max, so then I didn't see the rest of it. So so I mean,
I miss when TV used to have like Sunday must watch episodes and
mhm,
shit. Like
mhm, mhm.
people like Game of Thrones. My last one I was watching was Walking Dead. That was my last big Sunday show I used to watch, man. And then, well,
Yeah.
all the decisions they
So
made in that show, oh man, it got
yeah.
rough.
So again, I'm very simple now when it comes to my TV. A lot of old school stuff. I mix it up. My granddaughter comes over. I watch some stuff with her, and
I need to
I'm
watch
not.
some of these other older classics because I never watched The Sopranos or The Wire before. I want to
Oh
eventually
no,
watch
when I
those.
say old school, I watched stuff back in the 30s and the 40s. So, to me, that's when acting was at its best, when it's at its purest, and
Mm.
you can feel the emotions. Like, nowadays movies are all about the graphics and stuff that, explosions and digital
There's no
stuff that you can.
emotional depth. I actually,
Yeah.
we I don't know if I don't know if you caught the last episode we did last night. We were talking about the Superman movie that just came out that was directed by James Gunn. A big problem I have with it, and keep in mind, I know a lot of Superman stuff. I've watched a
Hmm.
lot of Superman, consumed a lot of it. There's some nice depth to his character that a lot of people don't see based off what they're shown because let's be honest here, casual people can only kind of consume this stuff from the movies. And a big thing with superhero movies that I've had, some of them just don't have any emotional depth to them. It's so
Exactly.
paint by the numbers, and they're always asking like, well, why are people not watching movies as much? There's like hardly any depth to some of these
It's
movies
not.
anymore.
If I grew up on like Betty Davis, Humphrey Bogart, Edward G. Robinson, I mean movies like that had some real character, and the artist can play
Mhm.
different characters, and they can emote different. They can give you different emotions with whether it's a gangster or a lover or whatever, someone who's intellectual. Yeah, I'm old. That's old. It's boring. It's black and white, and I get it. Or I can go into the '70s and watch some movies from there, or especially black exploitation. I mean, like I said, I'm different. and like I said, I'm an acquired taste. Let me just put it like that. So you know, my love of my life, God bless her soul. Um, she was the one who could relate to me in that regard because she was a big movie buff, but she was different from me. But
Mhm.
so when
Yeah,
when
I think the word I think the like you mentioned Big Bang Theory. The last trinity of comedy shows that really took over around that time I remember was How I Met Your Mother. I actually people
Mhm.
give Big Bang Theory a lot of shit these days. I actually really enjoyed Big Bang Theory. I thought it was always pretty fun to watch. I always loved watching it. I don't
Look,
know why it got I don't
I
know
mean,
why it
with
got the hate it did. It was a fine. It was a good show. Actually, people would kill to have a show like that these days. Like the quality in that show
oh,
compared to what we have now, it's like
I'll just say this, because I was talking to my kids about it. I'm like, I don't know why people hate Shelton. I mean, he's just autistic. That's really what it is.
because you know what's crazy? Whenever a show does a character that makes fun of people that act like
Mhm,
that, they get offended. It's like, guys, it's comedy. There's, there's why you
mhm.
can't have comedy shows anymore. People just are so sensitive. They can't even have
Yes.
a character that look. I know people like that guy in real life. I know people like that.
I
Not just
look. Here's the thing. On my football team, I had an autistic player. He was our kicker, and he was he extremely smart. But I always like before a game, I would always go to the other coach and I have him pull his team around. I'm like, look, our field goal kicker, he's autistic. Whenever he kicks an extra point, it's like winning the Super Bowl with him. And the first time they looked at it, but then they're like, he's autistic, and then they started catching on. And then when you speak to him, you understand. Now he's not like Sheldon, but he's truly, genuinely autistic. But then they start to, once they got to know him, they're like, he's a great kid, and he was well liked across the league. But yeah, when you see somebody who's autistic, you start to see and you start to understand. Yes, they're smart, but they just sometimes, depending, have certain
Mhm.
social skills that they can't relate to or whatever the case may be. And I always joke, I'm like, Sheldon is extremely smart, but he's autistic. He's a little
Yeah.
boy in a big man's body,
It was
but yeah.
2.5 Men, How I Met Your Mother,
Hmm.
and Big Bang Theory. Man, though
Hmm.
nothing's getting to that peak anymore in this recent age of comedy because comedy's so
Yeah.
sour now. I mean, you had Two Broke Girls. I never really got into that one too much,
Mm,
but that was all right, I
mm,
guess. Mike and
mm.
Molly, you remember that?
Yeah, I
Mike and
saw a couple episodes. It just
Yeah,
didn't, yeah.
yeah. I was like, eh.
I mean, and then what's her name? The African girl who loves Bob, who Bob loves whatever her name is. I forgot her name. I was just like, it's all right. But yeah, it was just, like I
I
said,
knew
it.
what they were trying to do. They were like, "Oh, fat guys need love too," and it's like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm,
really? All right." It's like, okay, and
mm-hmm,
then he doesn't get like a thin, skinny chick to date. He gets Melissa McCarthy, and it's like,
mm-hmm,
okay, are you reinforcing that fat people can only get fat women? It's like, all right, I guess. Fuck. I watched a few of the episodes and I was like, you know what? It's like, you know.
mm-hmm.
But I hope things get better. Then but
Yeah.
hey, the last to be fair, the last TV show I watched was Superman and Lois season 2. I think that's the last one I
uh,
watched.
like I
So
said, I mean, a lot of shows that I watch are old, so
I
I,
do love
I
rewatching old Sanford and Son episodes. Them shits,
No, yes, shows like that, like I said,
them shits is so peak.
A Different World I can watch over and over and over and over and over again. That's my kids like, Dad, you watching that again? I'm like, yeah, so I can deal with that. But yeah, Sanford and Son, the
Remember that episode?
Jeffersons.
Remember that episode they were stuck in the house because he didn't pay his bills? That shit was so funny.
Mhm,
Remember that episode? It was the same episode. He was like, if the have nots, what the have is. So like once I actually understood what he was saying, I was like, okay, now I understand. That was so funny when he said that. I
mhm,
was like,
mhm,
holy shit. It was crazy not getting a show like that anymore. Rest in peace to the guy who played Lamont. He passed away
mhm,
earlier. It was earlier this year, actually. And
mhm.
god damn, he lived a long
Yeah,
time. But no, what a peak show. Never getting like that ever again. Good times. I
no,
always enjoyed that one a lot
good
too.
times. Look, say what you want. I
Did you like
even love
Jefferson?
Archie. I love Archie Bunker's Place and which the one before it. Yes, I watched the Jeffersons. I grew up on it. The Jeffersons came from All in the Family. That's what it is. It came from All in the Families and Maud. The characters in that ended up in the All in the Family, and then To the Jeffersons started with Maud. So I know that's before your time. So, but yeah, all of that.
Would you count
I
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as, like, old school now?
Well, in comparison to today, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's during my adult
We're not even getting
time.
a show
So
like that anymore. Like, even just
no,
a show
you're not
like
going
that,
to
I
get
remember
that.
getting that. Yeah,
You
that
know,
had some amazing performances in that show.
yes,
So many great
yes,
episodes. Oh my
yes,
god, just it
yes.
oh god, now we just have whatever bullshit. Oh, good lord. And it's so cringe when you're watching this stuff too. It's like it's not just that it's new, it's bad. It's when you hear when they're talking, it's like they're not talking like actual people though. This is like they're
Well,
talking
I
like
mean,
morons to each other.
but you it, it we I don't want to say the wrong thing. How can I word this? TV in some respects is a break off of the real world that we're dealing in. And
Yeah.
to some extent. I mean, and you'll get some of it. I mean, look, it won't be long before you're going to get some social consciousness TV programming because of the environment that we're in right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, will you go back to? I don't think you'll go back to as I don't want to say drastic, but as deep as the era, like we were talking about with the
Yeah.
Jeffersons, with All in the Family, because the open racism that was spoken, most people wouldn't understand. They were showing you what was going on in the real world,
Mhm.
and yes, they were making it into a comedy form, but it was also part of life. And the way they were talking, yes, many, even your generation, would be strongly offended
Mhm.
by Archie Bunker and some of the things that he said because he was an open racist.
Mhm.
He was an open racist. Yes, he was. But so was George Jefferson. If you really sit down and you listen to him, calling the Willises the zebras and things of that, and honkies and things of that, that's offensive. That's just like using the N word nowadays. So,
Mhm.
so
What's crazy is those episodes ultimately ended up being the most memorable ones too, which is
yes,
crazy
it
too.
is.
Yeah.
But and people related to it at that time because
Mhm.
there were moments you experienced. I've experienced it. I've had white people come on my job and call me the N word to my face. So
Crazy.
and it's and this was back in the 90s. So imagine we're coming full circle to this day and age now, where you see it on social media and you see the interactions, with people every day. I don't want to make it seem like it's about law enforcement, but what I'm getting at is there are different facets of people. And when you go into TV programming, I'm expecting that you're going to see something not as um not the way they made it. I don't want to say it's explosive. Yeah, it's explosive as it was in the 70s, with the TV programming. But, you're going to see some of the softer, more politically correct, but I'm expecting them to, to within the next 5 years, you're going to see TV programming like that. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but we'll see.
No, it's a good perspective to have. Oh, last few things I'll ask you, man. You have what do you got? Do you have pick and roll coming up? I know you have
I
your own
have I
show.
have I have Courtside View in the W later on tonight with me and Man Cave,
Okay.
7 o'clock. I got pick and roll tomorrow with Mitch, with Rios, and with Blaze at 5:30, and then I have Heart of the City around 9:30 with my man NYG 22, also known as Popular Opinion Sports. I might do Reading Attack on Thursday. I'm anticipating, and then Saturday, another halftime of coach and adjustment show. Two old farts sitting back talking about sports, life, love, whatever else that we want to talk. That's my routine for this week. So
Yeah. As you guys know, for me, I got podcasts and game streams coming up. I got to catch up on some of these WNBA games for us to, go over
mhm.
and watch next week. There's gonna be a lot of games from this week. Hey, Sophie. Hey, you know what? Me,
well,
single, rich, and good looking, we could make a good
well,
pair.
I mean,
I'm just
if you're gonna talk about like that, um,
saying.
Courtney Cronin, you are one intelligent woman and intelligence draws me in even more than anything.
Mhm.
So, baby, call a brother.
Yeah. Sophie, if you ever want to sit on my face and just rest.
Oh, damn, man, bro, you
No,
went
no,
it
no,
there.
no.
But see, you went. I said the intellect. I went the intellect route, but you just went straight up
When you blow
sitting
their
on the
backs
face.
out, their brains are going to be gone. That's how it works.
Nah, bro, nah, bro. When I talk to him, trust and
No, no, no.
believe.
Do you remember? Oh my God, they were doing it was a game last year where she landed on that
Yeah,
camera guy's face.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was,
yeah.
you could tell that guy didn't even say anything. Oh my
Of
God.
course not. I mean, most of us would, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, I get it. But look, I wanna make love to the mind because that way when I enter your dome,
Mhm.
it's gonna be that much more. So, look, I gotta just like she gotta feed my mind, I gotta feed her mind because when the
Uh,
physical spectrum comes together, man, it's
hey, coach,
more.
did you know that? Hey, coach, did you know MSK has a poster behind him that says "Girl, just a girl who loves horses"? Now, this is the thing. Someone played a joke on me and screwed that into my wall. I didn't want that there. Someone did just fucking with me. His cousin lives next to me, my friend, and they just drilled it into my wall because they just that flag is
Mm,
supposed to be over there. That's an esports team's flag. I wanted that to be in the rear view, but they put just a girl who loves horses poster there.
okay, so they drilled it, you can't undrill it?
It was one of those. Oh my God. My God. I could, but it's like fuck.
But you choose not to. So it's
I
so it's
could.
it,
Fucking hell. I don't know how to get it. I mean, I could probably do it if I really tried, but it's like, God damn it. It's just, they're just playing a prank on me.
if
But,
they take whatever it is, I don't care if it's nails. You take a hammer to if it's screwing, you get you a drill and take it out.
oh, you're right. I need a hammer. You're a genius. MSK needs a man to come home and.
No, 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 no. You just want it up there. That's the truth. Stop lying. You enjoy it because it drives content. So I know
It
what
does
it is,
drive
player.
conversation, though. It does.
Player, come on. You see pimpology. You gotta understand. You can't play a player. You can't con. You can't hustle a hustler, and you can't pimp a pimp. Player, I
Uh,
am a pimp.
oh,
PIMP to the most extreme. So
They're
yeah.
doing crack.
oh God.
Come
Oh,
on,
God.
man. He needs a undrove. Damn.
Oh, God.
Damn.
God. You know what's crazy? Hey, oh, my God. Sophie, if you ever were like, I want to have a black guy face, you know what? If you wanted to try me out first, I'm not saying I could satisfy you, but I'm saying I could.
She's had black men. Trust and
Oh,
believe.
you can tell, yeah.
No,
Fucking
no,
hell.
it's not that. I just know. I mean, don't forget. She was screwing the owner of the Phoenix Mercury.
I know. Oh, dude, yeah. She.
So
Oh God.
and when she was in college, let's just say there was a story. I don't know how true it is, but
I could believe it.
she had a daddy long stroke.
Hey, tuition got to get paid.
I don't mean it like that. I
No,
mean
you know.
he was I believe he was on the I think she went to Missouri. If it was Missouri, I think she went to Missouri, and I think he was on the basketball team.
Yeah, fucking hell. Like when people say Caitlin Clark was beautiful, like no offense to her, I don't think she looks ugly, but there's much better looking women than her in the league, though. Like
Well,
she,
I mean,
I think
she's all
to me
right.
she looks a little too manly, a
Put
little
it
bit.
like this. Put it
Yeah,
like this. You take them clothes off, I do her. If it's just
yeah,
to
yeah.
do her,
But
but I
if you had an
mean, but
option of the girls that you said and her, if she was like, which would you pick her over the girls you said that look
oh
better than her?
no, no,
Probably not.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaliyah Boston, come home, daddy. Come with you, please, please. Yes, I mean, Aja Wilson, Angel Reese, even Sophie Cunningham. Come on,
Wait a minute.
bro.
Wait a minute. You would sleep with
Come
Angel
on.
Reese? Her butt's pretty big. I will say that would do it though.
Look, you ain't never went surfboarding before, bro. Do you know what that means?
No, no.
Catching some waves, man.
If I needed
Ass
some
up,
chocolate
face
ice
down,
cream,
ass up, face down, and smack the waves.
yeah,
Come
yeah,
on, bro. Come on,
yeah.
bro.
I know Yu-Gi-Oh has this thing. Hard face down, ass up. Hell yeah. I don't
Yes.
hate black. I'm not super sexually attracted to them, but Angel Reese, if she wanted to give me some of the nice chocolate, you know what? If she was
No,
paying
no,
me,
I'm gonna
sure.
be honest with you. You ain't had a black girl that would turn you the fuck out. That's the truth. Because let me tell you something. I had back in the days. I had some. They would turn you out. They would turn you out. That you would just be like, "What you want, baby? What you want? What you want? Anything you want? Seriously." And I had some white girls like that, and I had some Spanish girls like that. So usually he had the right one. That's what I'm getting at.
He's not on my. Walter's supposed to be on my side, and he's now on my. I had too many girls. Girls, I had sex with at least 100 women. I
see,
think
see,
maybe.
see. Here's the magic word. You keep saying the same thing over. You say girls, and see, I keep saying the same thing. I said I need a woman that can hit me here. See, girls look so good. Here's the song. I'd rather
Oh,
talk to a woman.
yeah, yeah. Oh
So,
God.
but now, see, I threw some old school hip hop on you. I ain't
No,
gonna do
that's
that to you.
that's before my time. Oh
Yeah,
God.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, but again, like I said, that's why, like with me, a woman got to connect with me seriously. I don't care how young, how old. Well, let me rephrase that. As long as she's
Yeah,
legal,
yeah. 18 and
she.
over. That's how I like my scotch. You know.
Well, I mean, I can't do much with an 18-year-old, except for just one thing, and then no, no, no.
Well,
So
to be fair, what else
even
you need her for?
20-year-olds, I mean, it's like 20-year-olds are not on my level intellectually. You really got to step your game up, and you probably got to be a college woman to really, if you're in your 20s, and that's even pushing it. So, but I mean, my oldest is damn near 40, so it's like I need a grown ass woman who can mentally and I'm being serious, mentally handle,
Yeah,
I have my
like you
issues.
said earlier, it all just depends on where you're
Yeah.
at in life, preference. Because you've been as you always say, you've been around the block a lot. So when you get that
Shit.
experience, your mind changes to a lot of things. And this is what a lot of guys, to be fair, all jokes aside, this is what a lot of guys do fail at. A lot of guys just kind of take the first girl that comes to them because they just don't have a lot of experience with women, and then it doesn't go so well, and then they're like, well,
Mhm.
why
Yes.
can't I find a good woman? It's like, well, I'm not even saying sex. I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is like sometimes you have to talk to different women, understand how they are, not just sleep with them, just talk to them, understand what you like, understand
Mm,
what their
yes.
personality is, ego. Because before you talk about their mind, their personality goes into that too, their ego and all that stuff. All that stuff plays into it, sometimes.
It's also about you as a man, because
Yeah.
God rest the love of my life, the mother of my children, who I say is my wife. Um, God rest her soul. But like, I didn't realize the true queen that I had when I was with her. Because
Mhm.
yeah, I was doing my dirt. I was out there in the streets and running around and whatever, whatever, and thinking I'm looking for something better when I had the ultimate at home. And until the Most High said, "Nah, you're not treating this queen like that. I'm calling her home."
What's an old saying? You
So
have an old saying in your day. You don't know what you lost until it's gone.
yes, and that's true. So that's why I say this
Mhm.
is most important.
Yeah, yeah.
And I get it. Everyone has their physical preference, and people find me strange when I say I don't have a physical preference. I've dated a woman who's 6'6", 4'11",
Lucky. I wish it
over
came that
300 pounds. When the love of my life, when I met her, she was 95 pounds, and I was 285. So I don't discriminate,
Yeah, no,
because
that's why I brought up it's all about personality sometimes and
hmm
egos. Because like, you're talking about getting into a woman's mind. To be fair, you was asked this, I was joking, but I'll be a big problem that I have with most women sometimes, because they're always like guys have egos and stuff like that. It's not about an ego, it's about certain personality. Like if I can't click with someone, if we don't got no chemistry, I
hmm
just can't. Like in my mind, I just can't. Like if she wanted to just have sex, that's whatever. I don't care about that. It's one of those things where it's like, but I can't see myself actually talking to you. Like you said, how your ex
hmm
would click with you. It's like you have chemistry. You can talk to this person.
hmm
If I can't talk to this person because their ego is inflated, their personality is super inflated, I
exactly.
can't work with that. And like
And
you said, for younger women have that really bad. I would say
well,
older women are definitely better at kind of reining in their personality and
well,
ego a
it,
little
it
bit.
depends. It
Right,
depends. I
right, right.
mean, because I mean, I've seen women in their 60s, 70s, and 80s
Out of
who,
egos are still out of crazy.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and again, it just depends. I mean, there are women who hate when I tell them, "Well, I don't need a woman." They're like, "Well, you need a woman for sex." I'm like, "I have a woman right here. I don't need a woman for that if I just want sex. Now, if I want someone to connect with, and be in love with,
Mhm.
different story, different perspective. But if it's all about me busting a nut, man, I got a hand for that. Or
Yeah.
if I got a couple bucks, I can go get me an escort and handle my business and send her on her merry way, and I ain't got to deal with her no more.
Yeah, and she
So,
knows that
but
too. Like, that's the thing is,
yeah,
hey, yeah.
but the point being is I don't need, like my father told me at a very young age, never let a woman feel like you need her for anything. Doesn't matter if it's sex, doesn't matter if it's cooking, cleaning. You need to be able to handle that your own self. That way your relationships will be that much better, that much stronger, because you'll also have respect for her. And if you don't respect her, then you're going to do things you shouldn't be doing. Case in point, like I did in earlier in my life. Now, was I young? Was I in my 20s? Yeah, sure. Did we have a child at a young age? Yeah. And I needed some growing up to do. Where now, if I had have known now back then, yeah, there wouldn't have been another woman. Never, ever. You know, to this day, I still probably think that maybe she would be here, because, somebody said to me, I broke her heart, and that's a guilt that I live with till this day. So, but we'll see when the Most High calls me home, and we'll see what happens.
Well, as you know, in life, 'cause you've been around longer than me, as a man, you make mistakes, but you gotta push through it. Like, I've always looked at it like this when it comes to mistakes, like, 'cause I can't reveal personal, 'cause y'all crazy people are on the internet about
Mm.
me sometimes, but there's this one stalker I have. Oh my god, there's a few people that are like this. So I will say this. I understand what you're saying. I really do, because I have very similar thoughts myself too. The best way I've always went through it is that you just treat the people in your life
Mhm.
better than what you did with the people previously as you learn from it. That's the
That's
best thing
fair.
you can do. And you just
That's
learn from
fair.
it. And as a man, sometimes you gotta just push through it. You know, you seem to be doing, it's
But
crazy.
why do you just push through it as opposed to learning from it?
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, they come on, they go hand in hand. I because
okay, okay,
when
okay.
yeah, when you're learning through when you're learning something, you learn how to also push through certain, barriers, obstacles
Well,
to get through them.
one thing I'm learning even more so is when they tell men to just push through, it's a matter of suppressing your emotions, and suppressing you,
Yeah.
as opposed to, you know what, sometimes you got to talk about it, you got to get it out,
No, I don't even
and
mind
you got to learn.
that. Yeah, I
Okay.
see. I don't mind that when if you're talking that, I don't mind. It's just one of those things where everyone has a lot of things they go through.
Hmm.
You have moments in life where you have your downtime, and there's moments in
Hmm.
your downtime you can talk about them. But it's also a thing where you didn't let these things affect your mind. Where you weren't able to have a life though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
My biggest issue is I get it. There's a lot of things that we do in life that are fucked up and things bad happen, but to a certain extent, life moves on. We gotta be able to put our
Mm,
boots on, go to work,
that's fair.
make things
That's it.
happen.
Yes, yes, yes,
And I get it. Like,
yes.
you're right. There should be outlets we can talk about this. That I don't mind, but it's when people let these things consume their life where they don't have anything and they're letting it ruin their life. And I understand things suck. I do. I get them. I have things that I sometimes regret too. But it's like bills got to get paid. I got to go to work. I got to get
Yeah,
stuff
that part,
done.
yes, you're
You
right
know?
about that. You
Yeah.
you can't stop living because of,
And the person that anyone that you lost wouldn't want you to have that. Like, your
mhm,
ex-wife wouldn't want you sitting there depressed crying, and so she wanted to be like, you know what, Eh, times pass. Let's keep going.
yeah,
I
yeah.
firmly believe that people that have passed on, that have been in our life, wouldn't want us sitting there crying and moping
No,
like
they
that.
wouldn't.
They
They
would
wouldn't.
want
You're
you to move
you you're
on.
right. You're
You
right
know,
about that.
because
And
how would she
and
feel if you were doing that? She'd be like, get your ass. I know she was like, get your ass up and make things happen. She would feel
no,
that way.
you're
Yeah,
right. You're right. I mean, her, well, she's her sister, but her best friend growing up, you know, she always says to me, Ed, Cappy forgave you, because she always tells me, she's like, the biggest thing you got to do is forgive yourself. And I always tell myself, I don't want, part of that is because I don't want to forget her, and I don't want to forget some of the things that we have had in our relationship.
yeah, sure.
And I, in a sense, punish myself by, you know what, keeping myself in a certain spectrum. But yes, I've lived my life. I've done my thing. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
Yeah,
I've dated other women, but no one is also going to replace her. And I'm trying to make sure no one replaces her, because She gave
Well,
me
do you know
3
how we know
beautiful
that? Your kids don't feel that way. Your kids don't feel like their
no,
mom got
no,
replaced. Yeah,
no,
and that's all
no,
that
no,
really
no, no,
matters,
no.
and you know in your mind she hasn't gotten replaced
Yeah,
either.
oh,
I
my
mean,
kids tell me all the time, "Dad, you need," like, "Dad, you need to find you a girlfriend." Like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I've had plenty of
they probably think
girlfriends." "No,
you're
you need to."
lonely. I mean, that's what
But
girls think that. Girls that's
see,
only a
that's the
girl thing,
thing that
though.
people who like they look at me, they're like, you need to get out of your apartment. You seem I'm like, I like being alone. I'm not lonely. There's a difference. I understand that. I'm not,
Mhm.
I'm maybe a little reclusive, but I also have a personality. I can go out and be around people. No, but I'm fine where I am. I'm comfortable. I'm happy. Look, can I go out more? Yeah. Like I tell people all the time, I'm like, damn it, if I had a car when I first came to this apartment, half of y'all wouldn't even know me. They're like, oh damn, there's that guy in this apartment. He's out on the road all yeah, because I'm going down south to see my family, going across the country to see my family, whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
exactly, Walter, being alone and lonely isn't the same. And that
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
live in a day and age that some people think it is the same. And they think because you are in your room. And look, we've also seen certain people who, and I get it, the fear that certain people who grow and they go out and they do things to harm other people, and it scares you. I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
But that not everyone is like that, and everyone seems to think, oh, if you're alone, you're lonely, and then you can go out and you can harm other people. No, damn it, I ain't trying to hurt nobody. As long as y'all leave me alone, I'm gonna leave you alone.
Yeah, because it's crazy. The reason why I brought up going through stuff is because I look at people don't believe me, but I genuinely try to make this point sometimes on Twitter too, or any social media. The people that built everything we have now
Mm-hmm.
went through the same stuff that we did, minus the internet, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
they were getting shot at, bombed. You mentioned all the other stuff, but civil rights and everything, all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
everything. Even if you don't agree with it, it's everything culminates, right? All those people
Mm-hmm.
throughout those days pushed through it and moved on and got
Mm-hmm.
through things and
Mm-hmm.
had tragedies
Mm-hmm.
and highs and lows. You know, I'm not saying why can't we do it too? Like all those great men that built everything we have, or great women that have done a lot of things, they've had the same
They
problems that
gotta
we've all
learn.
had.
They gotta grow and learn though. Why you said why can't they? Those people also lived and learned and grew. So
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then also the other thing is there is a certain aspect of today's culture and
Mhm.
society that isn't feels entitled. Like they feel like they're entitled to whatever they can say whatever they want and not deal with the consequences. They can do whatever they want and not deal with the consequences. They don't understand, but they got to learn from that because let's be real. There, for
Yeah.
everything you
And
do, there's a
yeah.
consequence.
And the reason why people think I shit on women too much, and I mean I do, but I really focus on guys too sometimes because I feel like as a guy to sit on any social media and go, oh, it's crazy. These are grown men. I'm not talking like a 15-year-old kid who just lost his first girlfriend. I'm talking about a
Hmm.
kid. I'm talking about grown dudes with barely any money being like, why doesn't this girl like me? Why did she cheat on me? You will never see me in my life. I made my mistakes sometimes on social media crying about why don't a girl love me. That is pathetic. Even girls that read that are gonna find that pathetic. They will. It's just that's I've talked to a lot of girls in my life too. They don't like that stuff. They think that's really cringe. They think that's gross to look at.
I will
You
say
gotta,
this. I will say this to those guys. First and foremost, do you love yourself? Because I
yeah,
just said it. You don't need a woman, to be honest with you. And it's not saying I'm disassociating from women or anything like that, anything else like that. You got to love yourself first before you can expect anyone to love you. And if you love yourself, you're going to treat yourself to a certain standard. Period. Case closed. You're not just going to take and accept anyone treating you any kind of way,
yeah.
any anyone like that. Period. Case closed. You got to love yourself. So
Mhm.
if she don't love you, it hurts. Don't get me wrong. Everybody
Also,
wants
you know what's
somebody to
crazy?
love.
You should look at it. I always tell people like this. The best way to look at it is if that person didn't want to be in your life for whatever reason, that's good. You know what's crazy? I've seen so many people in my life just leave or just be gone for whatever reason. Not even bad. Sometimes things just happen. That's good on like come on. If you had married that girl, you say you had kids with her and she just randomly one day just divorced you and left, that wouldn't feel good. It's actually
No.
good. You have no legal ties to this person and she just left you. Because that shows you right there. That wasn't a good person for you at all. If someone's just gonna leave you at the dime randomly out
Mhm.
on a day with no explanation. And what's crazy is she's looking at you and that's what she wants. She wants you to pine over her. Don't do that. What you need to do, you need
Mm.
to figure out there's better things to do in life than focus on getting a girl. I think that's a weird psyop thing most society has done for us guys. You have to have a girl and a what? No, you don't. You really don't. Most women aren't like that. Most women aren't this
Mhm.
pedestal
Mhm.
most you guys put them on. Women will come to you. I'll be honest, if you have money, they'll come if you have money. They will come. Not the best women, but
Look,
getting
look.
money is
I
a
will say
decent
this.
factor.
I will say this about women and relationships, not women, relationships. Social media skewers narrative, and it makes you think what you see on social media should be what everyone should experience, and it's not. That's why I say there's a high level of entitlement out here
Mhm.
where no, it's not. It's not. I mean, the reality is the reality. Your life is your reality, not what you see on social media. Look, I say I'm the sexiest fat man in the world. People say, well, why do you call yourself fat? Well, first and foremost, if you saw me when I was in college playing ball, you'd be honest with me, and I'm honest with myself. I'm fat.
Huh.
I know I'm fat, and I don't mean it to be negative and derogatory. I say it to be honest with myself, and I am honest with myself. So, but the word fat today is such people are just so sensitive because when they hear someone else call themselves fat, they're instantly putting it in their head and they're thinking about themselves and they start to feel bad about themselves, which goes back to what I said. Do you love yourself? I love myself, fat or not. I love myself, so I love me some Ed, Coach Ed. I do. Period. Case
You
closed.
mentioned being
So
alone. I love being alone and being in my house. Like literally, when I'm off, do you guys think I go outside really when I'm off? Literally, the only time I go outside is if I'm going to the gym, which is like a feet away. I'm not going to the store. I'm going to the gym, or that's it. Or I go to the movies sometimes. I literally will be in my house all day if I'm off. I got to interact with people. I got games. I got games. I got content to make with a lot of you guys. I'm good. I don't
Yep.
need that.
I like being by myself too, because sometimes people can get on your damn nerves, and it's like get the fuck out,
I think
So
saying it's good is a bit of an overstatement considering
yes,
the
no,
situation. Yeah,
easy.
yeah, it's one of these. But the thing is, this
It's
is
a
the
good one.
harshest way of saying this, and this is the last thing I'll say before we head in a little bit. This is the harshest way I'm gonna say this to people. I know it's gonna sound bad, and I agree. It sounds bad when you tell people certain. I'm not saying me. Like, do you know, like you've seen some moments, like just walking around, where if a bad thing happens, that next person that sees it just walks past you because they don't care. That's kind of the reality of life to a lot of people. When you tell them certain things, they just don't. I'm not saying me. I'm saying they
Hmm.
don't care.
No, you're
Like,
right.
yeah, like even at work, if you told like your boss certain bad things that happened to you, they probably go like, "Oh yeah, sir, I understand," but do they really care?
Mhm.
They probably don't. It's one of these
No.
things where people say, like you mentioned earlier, when dudes are on social media doing that. I'll be honest here. If you're a grown guy talking about his girl problems, I'll be honest here. I don't give a fuck personally. How you helping me? Like, how's that help me pay my bills? You talking about you got girl problems? What first world problems you have? You talking about some girl that doesn't love you? You know, like I think that's the thing people gotta understand is
Hmm.
you should surround yourself with people that do care about you, but also understand that certain things we're just gonna have to just deal with them the best way we can. Talk about them when you can. Have creative outlets. I always ask people, have a creative outlet. Like this guy
That's
was
yeah,
telling
true.
this just happened like a few days ago. This guy was telling me I'm like 40 years old and I have no creative outlets. What do you mean you have no creative outlets and you're a 40-year-old man? What the fuck are you talking about? You saying you don't have any creative outlets as 40-year-old man? Are you kidding? You have to be joking. Like you
Look,
have to be
look,
joking when you
look,
say these
look.
things.
I haven't
This
coached
just happened like
in
a few days ago. This person told me that. I
No,
was
I got
mind
you.
blown.
I haven't
I was
coached in a
blown.
few years, but guess what I'm always doing? I'm always sitting down diagramming, dissecting football plays. I'm here streaming, creative outlet. I've actually started writing a book, and
Okay.
I've gotten
How far are you in?
13 chapters done.
What genre are you doing?
It's nonfiction. The title of the book is My Pain, My Misery. And it's kind of dealing what we're talking about here. So
Yeah.
it's dealing with the pain and miseries of life and coping and the psychological associations with it. There's some true life um components to it. So,
Hmm.
but the point being there's always creative outlets. So yeah, you're right. If you choose not to, that's on you. But I mean, Look, I'm always in here trying to stream, think of other ways. I got my college football stuff right here that I'm going to be sitting down dissecting because college football's around the corner, NFL's around the corner.
Oh
So,
God, yeah.
yeah, so it's like,
I got WNBA right now. Regular NBA is
exactly.
retired.
So
I got
that's why
league I watch. It's crazy. That's why I tell guys, if the reason why you're probably sad and depressed because you have nothing going on. I'm not saying just work. Okay, you got a job, you make money. That's actually really good. So some people don't even have that, but you need something else that takes your mind off that. You gotta have what do you? I was up here. What do you like? And whatever you like that you're passionate about, delve into that. Because that's going to take your mind off any single thing you're sad about. Like when I'm talking the show to you guys and I'm focusing on all the different players and narratives and gameplay and all stuff, I'm not thinking about being sad at all. I'm not saying I don't get sad. Everyone gets sad sometimes, but I'm so focused on so many different things. I don't got time for depression. I don't got time for none of that shit. That's a distraction. I'm focused on this, and that's what I'm focused on to get things done. It's, you gotta, that's what Thanos said in Infinity War, balance as all things should be. Life is a balancing of the positive outlooks and the more nihilistic, and neither of which you can or want to dwell on for too long. Yeah, and the thing is, there's always your time. That's why they call it a grieving period. Like you mentioned people passing away. There's a grieving period for that. People give you a grieving period.
Focus on your horses.
I watched Spirit as my first. God, I've never seen horse porn. If they ever start saying that,
Okay.
All right.
Nah.
So,
nah. No. Don't even try and explain it. Please don't.
I like my women like I like my women human. Oh, God.
Yeah. I'm cool with porn. I'm cool with that. But horse porn? Nah, bro.
Coach doesn't know this. I didn't do this. And keep on, I didn't pull up porn. I pulled up corn. Everyone loves corn. I don't eat corn on the cob the long way. I will never do that because that's gay. But I love corn on the cob. Corn on the cob is pretty fucking good.
What do you mean you don't eat it the long way? What the hell does that mean?
It's a joke. It's a joke. Where people I always tell people at work, you eat corn on the cob the long way. They're like, oh yeah, you must love it. You love it for the shape. And I'm like, all right, I guess. All right.
Oh my gosh. All right. That went over my head. All right.
Does Coach Ed know about? Oh my God, no! You can't watch this. Don't ever bring up that YouTube channel ever. Don't bring it up. That's a propaganda YouTube channel. It's all propaganda used to make me look bad all the time. All right, so today I think I'm gonna be on Toasty's channel. She wanted to have me on to be a guest to talk about stuff. I don't know. I'll be on that a little bit. I think I have an MSK show later on today. I think I do, but yeah, I got podcasts and game streams coming up. But yeah, thank you, man, for being on. Next week we'll be on, hopefully at the same time. So yeah, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the Cloud9 Podcast. Make sure you guys go and follow Coach on Twitter, subscribe to his YouTube channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. You guys have a great rest of your day. Goodbye, everyone. Peace.